Hello, everyone. This is Apostle Babe Linda James, your favorite apostate. And I'm going to welcome Amber, XJW Amber, to the stage. Welcome. She called me like 5 minutes ago, and I went to pick up the phone to answer it, and it just totally hung up on her. And then I was thinking, okay, I'm going to do these 3 little things and call her right back. We ended up texting, but yeah. So within that little phone call or texting, she was asking me what subject I was going to talk about, and I didn't know yet. So do you have a subject in mind to talk about?
I do want to talk to you about something, but I'm having this really weird, like
echo?
Like there's a lag or something.
If you don't close out your YouTube, you'll end up getting an echo. So you close that.
I was like, why am I hearing all this
Yeah.
twice?
That I know, it's very distracting.
Yeah, I was like really thrown off. Yeah, I wanted to talk to you. I actually was thinking about picking up the phone. Wait, hold on, my son. Okay, hold on one moment, okay?
Okay.
I kind of been wanting to jump on with you for a little bit. I enjoy being in your feed though.
Oh, good.
But so I had gone back and I was kind of like looking through some of my videos, and I haven't watched my videos in such a long time. Like, you do them, right? And then sometimes you go back and you watch, but sometimes they're really long and you just are like, okay, I'm moving on to the next subject.
Exactly.
So I was looking at them and I kind of noticed like this theme, and I'm kind of wondering, is your audience is mostly ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, right?
I have a couple of other people. There's a guy, actually a gal, that there's a couple of guys that'll join me that are just kind of, they showed up one day and decided to stick around. And then I have a gal friend that has came on a lot, and I think of her as a dear friend, even though we haven't hung out. And she goes by Purple is the New Orange. And from what she's talked about, her home life was very much, her family was very much a cult. And I could tell she's done her homework about, the dynamics of the family and how it was, unfortunately, a toxic situation. But mostly, yes, they're mostly ex-Jehovah's Witnesses.
So I was, and I'm kind of wondering, I kind of wanted to get some feedback from you and from your audience on some of these things, but I was noticing this like just repetitive theme with me and the things that I was saying in a lot of my videos. And it had to do with healing. Like, I want to heal. I want to, get past this. I want to grow. And I kept on just hearing myself video after video after video, like talking about healing. And then even I think in the last video that I did, talking about, I think I've grown past a certain point. And I want to know what are your thoughts about that, about the healing part? Is that like a common theme, do you feel, within
yes
wanting to heal, right?
Absolutely. Once we realized that we were actually in an abusive situation within that organization or with our family, and the abusive characteristics and stuff was promoted by this beautiful organization we grew up in.
Yeah.
It kind of helped me connect some dots as far as how I have behaved, especially doing things that were socially unacceptable and I didn't even know. I didn't know I was doing socially unacceptable stuff, and that's part of our isolation that we were encouraged to do. So there's a whole lot of different, it's whatever comes up for us.
Yeah.
Just pick that one at the time. Yeah.
I'm actually kind of starting to feel a little bit different about the process of healing. And I kind of just wanted to talk about it and see kind of where everybody is at with that. But I've recently started going to therapy. And I
for
really,
you.
done that. And I was like, okay, I'm going to really go in. I'm going to give it the solid effort. But I am I have a really hard time trusting people with my things, which sounds so strange, right? Because I had a YouTube channel that I spoke on, for
Trusting
a
people
couple
with your
years.
what? What did you say?
I
Trusting
just
people with your
with my things, like with what I have to say or what's inside.
okay.
So I go back to therapy. I've had 2 sessions so far. But the first time, before I went in, I'm thinking to myself, like, I really want to give this a solid chance. I've been noticing for myself just recently, I've been going through a lot of depression. And I'm like, why? Like, I feel like I almost feel like an asshole for being depressed because I have so many things to be thankful for, right? I have so many things to be thankful for. I feel so
Don't
unsettled.
discount whatever's coming up for you. Don't
Yeah.
discount it, sweetheart.
Yeah. I'm trying to feel it and go through it. But, I
Yeah.
have my inner voice going like, you have so many things to be thankful for, like, why are you feeling this way? Anyways, I thought, well, I'm going to go and give therapy a real shot. I'm going to really talk and I'm going to really be honest and I'm going to really say the things, that I'm feeling inside. And so, the whole thing starts off with, first I'm like, how does this work? Like, do we talk about childhood things first? Is there like a sequence to this? Like, how am I going to heal? Right? Like, how
That's
are
so
we going?
funny. I want to know the whole process too.
I
I
actually
want you to sit me down and tell me what steps we're going to go through.
I actually sat there and I asked him. I was like, okay, so how is this going to work? Like, I want to please unfold the secrets for me because I'd like to know, like, how do I roll this out so that I get proper healing, right?
It's so funny. I'm laughing because that's so me. So I'm laughing at you with me.
Right?
I'm really laughing at me. That's too funny.
So we start talking and, the subject comes up and it's like the first subject, right, of being one of Jehovah's Witnesses. Well, in my paperwork, I guess to preface it, in my paperwork, I had said, I didn't really want to fill out the paperwork. I was like, I don't want to do this. I want to talk. I don't want to put things in writing. Like, I'm just, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I put, grew up in a cult, had, 2 fiancés that passed away, just kind of like listed down, just like short topic type things. And so, we go in and we start to talk and I was like, I guess he's like, well, where do you feel it all began? And I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, I guess it started with growing up in a cult. And he's like, a cult, and he's like so interested, right? Because like who comes in and sits down and says, hey, I grew up in a cult.
Yeah.
Right. No. I mean, I don't know. Maybe lots of people don't know. But
I wonder.
So we start talking and I start kind of, telling him a little bit about, the organization and things that I grew up experiencing. And at first in our conversation, I noticed he kept on saying in your religion and I'm saying in the cult, right? So I'm thinking, okay, there's a disconnect in the way he views who the Jehovah's Witnesses are and what this organization is about.
A lot of society at large doesn't see Jehovah's Witnesses as a cult. Some really do. I think that could have been a respect thing. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, go ahead.
But it was just kind of funny because by the end of our hour together, he was like calling it a cult. And very much saying like, how does your family not see that they're in a cult, kind of thing.
Okay. Wow. That's the weirdest thing about a cult. People that are in a cult have no clue they're in a cult.
Right.
It's bizarre.
It is. It is. So, we started talking at one point and I said something that kind of stuck with me. And it was kind of just like, I said it and maybe I didn't really think before I said it, but I was like, if you think about, and I think I've said these things before without like really, really taking them in and then thinking on them and formulating, why this came out this way. But I kind of likened what's going on with me as I don't know if it's healing that I need. I don't know if it's healing or deprogramming.
And I've heard the term deconstructing too.
Right. So I was like, I don't know that you can heal from a program. Like, it's like when you think about, you come into this world and you start to learn, language, your ABCs, your 1, 2, 3s, all of those things are
Sure.
taught to you. You don't come in knowing these things. They're built into
Right.
you like programs, right?
Yes.
So, as I started to think about the fact that, we sit in this, we're being programmed, meeting after meeting, talk after talk, everything is programming. And so I was like,
Yes.
how do you heal from programming? Can you heal from programming? Is
Now,
that
see,
possible? Or am I going to try to heal forever when I really need to deconstruct what's been built in me?
right.
And so I'm kind of like,
I'm sorry.
oh,
Go ahead.
No, I was saying,
So-
I'm kind of at this point where I'm wondering, like, am I going to be trying to heal forever? Am I doing it wrong?
Oh, that's such a great question. Am I doing it wrong?
Am
I love it.
Am I approaching this the wrong way?
Again, laughing at myself
Yeah.
and you at the same time because I'm laughing at myself. Am I
No,
doing
I
it wrong? God, that's such a. Can I just laugh about that for a while?
Yeah.
We always did it wrong in the Jehovah's Witness religion.
Yeah.
Anything that went negative was our fault.
Yeah.
And so, of course, we're like, it must have been something I'm not getting right, But
Right.
yeah, when like in the 60s, when there was a lot of different fringe groups were showing up, like Jim Jones and the People's Temple. There was other stuff that was other cults that were coming up.
Yeah.
There were psychiatrists that were doing studies on them, and to help them get out of it, it was actually called deprogramming. Okay. So what they thought about doing at first was getting permission from their parents to kidnap them from the group and then indoctrinate them to get out using the same process that they were using to indoctrinate them in the cult, but to indoctrinate them to help them get out.
Right.
But that turned out to be unethical and wrong.
Yeah. Like, that's such a good idea.
So the whole deprogramming idea, it's like, how do we reverse this? And what do we replace it with? I mean, that was like what we were thinking of. I wasn't there, but that was the thought process. If we got programmed, how do we deprogram?
Right. And that's kind of what I'm starting to feel at this point of, and I think one of the main things that prompted me to start looking at it a little bit different is when I went back recently to look at some of the videos that I had made years ago, right? It's been like 4 or 5 years already. I'm talking about the same things over and over and over again. It's like, I don't know how to heal from some of these things. And so it's like,
I think talking about it is part of the process to heal.
But how long? How long? I was talking
I
about
personally don't think that I'm going to reach a point of being totally healed.
Yeah.
I think that I'm going to be healing until I die.
Yeah.
And that what I've come to find is that things that used to affect me rather negatively, that was associated with how I was raised and the thought processes that I was taught, doesn't happen as much as it used to.
Yeah.
So it happens less and less.
Yeah.
And to me, let's just say triggers.
Yeah.
Let's say we hear a Kingdom song every so often and it triggers us.
Yeah.
Well, the more we become assimilated into society at large, we're probably going to hear that Kingdom song less and less and less,
Right.
and learn how to function when we hear it, maybe even make new memories for it, or listen to how somebody else would have healed from that song. Come up with your own stuff. and it'll just become less and less. And I'm just using the song thing as an example of a trigger because we get triggered by a lot of different things.
Right.
But the more we get ourselves out there and try to function in society at large, which is really challenging at first, the better it will get, is what I've come to find. And then every so often, I think I'm doing good. Dun, 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 boom, something hits me, and I'm like, I'm bawling my eyes out. Or I get real bitchy. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on with me? And I self-reflect, which I didn't used to do. And I've gotten better at that. Okay. Like, whoa, what the hell's going on with me? And it usually relates to something from my past. And anybody could have said anything. And it just reminded me of a negative something in my past of when I was in the cult or even in previous relationships.
Yeah.
You know, so once I realized what it could be connected to, then I realized, okay, so how am I going to handle this in the future? Is you know, so I got to give myself a little bit of grace. Okay, it was okay. I got upset. I cried. You know, I'm never going to get thick enough skin to where this kind of stuff doesn't bug me.
Yeah.
Give myself some grace in that. And then ask myself, how am I going to handle this the next time this happens? Kind of think ahead, you know?
Yeah.
And if it's going to hurt me, and I know it's going to hurt me, I'm going to kind of set aside some time for me to hurt, you know?
Yeah.
We used to stuff any of our emotions. We didn't get to have them. Even at funerals, it was like, what are you crying for? We're going to see them in paradise, right? Like,
Right.
So, you know, really respect what's coming up. And I'm not talking about letting yourself be controlled by your emotions, but just, I think when you mourn over something, it's not over with. Every so often it might come up some more, you know, like something reminds you of something you've mourned about in the past. There might be still a little bit of mourning left. Take the time, respect yourself in it, let yourself have it, and it's going to help you move on. The main thing I think for us as ex-cult members is when we deny ourselves what's going on with us, it's very damaging for our psyche.
Yeah.
It's damaging for our health. There's something called psychosomatic symptoms. I think I'm saying it right, where your body just kind of just gets sick for no reason, or you'll have these strange symptoms because you've kept it all in. So letting it out is good. And when you find yourself letting it out and taking it out on other people, you know, just acknowledge it, do your apologies, and take accountability. Because I've done that. Didn't know I was doing it, but I've done it. I've been like, I remember my previous partner, I'm talking about stuff, and she started crying. I'm like, are you crying? She's like, yeah. I'm like, holy crap. She's feeling like I'm bitching her out. And I was bitching about the situation.
Yeah.
So, you know, I had to just help me figure out I had to apologize. I mean, I wanted to, but sometimes we don't even realize how it's affecting others.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if I'm doing it right. I know that I want to develop my authentic self because we didn't get to have that inside of that organization. And I think that's a huge part of us healing. And if we get to do things that are natural to us, I think we're just more happier in life. You know, some people are more sports orientated.
Yeah.
And they are drawn to that. I'm just not. I'm just real artsy fartsy. And if you make me have to sit at a desk to do an office job, I would cry. Some people are like super efficient in it. That's their place where they function well.
That's their jam.
What?
I said that's their jam.
Exactly. So we learn our jam. We learn our unique self, which was never allowed to happen in the org. We had to put on that new personality and be like whatever they said we had to be like. So I think that's part of our healing, becoming our authentic self. paying attention to stuff that comes up for us, like triggers or, figuring out what a trigger is. Boundaries, we never made boundaries. So it's very, very easy for us to be taken advantage of. Because we were taught to say yes all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, especially us women. Okay, the men were brought up to be leaders and to give instructions and to be kind of like teachers of us, and we were taught to be submissive and do
Sorry.
what the men say, right?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Why are you saying you're sorry?
No, I'm saying that's part of what I feel like that's part of what we were taught.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Exactly. Right. So I found myself in a thread the other day, a chat thing, totally standing up for myself. And I was setting a boundary. And I was like, wow.
Like,
so you'll notice things that'll happen and you'll realize I used to never do that. But it's a healthy thing to do.
Yeah.
And give yourself a little bit of a, gold star for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm just like really in this place where I'm like, maybe my expectation of healing is to never hurt again about it. And maybe that's not the reality of what healing looks like, I feel like, and these changes, when they make these changes and now that they've come out and they start trying to visit again, and it's like, I was doing just fine. Like I was great. I was doing good. And now you're like, dangling the carrot of, oh, my mom gets to call me once a year now, and mind you, there's a part of me that feels kind of dumb because I'm, at this age where maybe I should be feeling more independent, but I just have this like want to be connected kind of thing, and it's not allowed to happen. And I can't heal from that. I don't know how to heal from that.
Want to be more connected with?
Like my mom. Like she's the only person that, my mom, my brother, my sister, but out of them, my mom.
They took your mother away.
Yeah.
And maybe she was kind to you, more kinder to you than, I don't know what your relationship is like. Even abusive mothers, when they're taken away from us, it's still messed up. You know what I'm saying? How dare them?
Yeah.
Take my mother away from me. Okay. Yeah. That's supposed to hurt. You know what I mean? That's totally normal.
For how long though? For how long?
I don't know. I don't know. It's like another death.
Yeah.
Right? But she's still alive.
Yeah.
And you two could still be having conversations with this group of people who claim to speak for God has told her that you are not worthy of speaking to.
Right.
And that's actually within cultic techniques and tactics. What that really is treating you as though you are dead. That's what that is. It's a punishment. It's not a discipline like the organization told us. The organization told us it is Jehovah's loving provision. Fuck that. It is not Jehovah's loving provision. Yeah. I'm sorry, but fuck that.
Yeah,
they're gaslighting.
I didn't see how that's loving.
No, it's not. But it's different than if we find ourselves in a toxic relationship.
Right.
Maybe with somebody that's high on the scale of narcissism. And then we find ourselves going, I think it's better for me to cut my relationship off with this person because they keep doing things to like sabotage our attempts to advance in our jobs or have relationships with our family. Like they'll try to cut all that off, just like the organization did. We might go what is called no contact. Have you heard of that?
Mm-mm.
So it's a technique that some people will do that are dealing with a narcissist. So anybody who's listening and you as well, if you start researching narcissism, you'll find that these different, even channels like on YouTube, of describing what narcissists do, their characteristics and stuff, and describing things of what we can do to protect ourselves. And one of them is called going gray rock, and the other one is called going no contact. Going gray rock is like if you hear from, and I'm going to call them an abuser. That's what I'm going to call someone that's high on the scale, narcissistic, that's in our lives, and we've chosen to kind of, it would be wiser for us to back off from them because they cause us a lot of pain, and we just keep going for it.
Yeah.
Right? So going gray rock is when they talk to us and they tell us this and that and the other. It would usually just give us alarms and make us go, oh my God, what happened? Instead of doing that, you just be like, oh, wow, just very low key. That's nice. Or then what happened? Just kind of leave it low key, so they don't get a rise out of you. Kind of a matter of fact. That's called going gray rock.
That's hard.
I know, right?
Especially for a Sagittarius that wears all of her, I can't hide what I'm feeling. It's all right here.
Yes. So because they like to manipulate us.
Yeah.
Like they're like, if you picture the hand with a puppet underneath, like they like to manipulate us to get us to behave in a certain manner. So, right. And then going no contact would be to quit talking to them. And it's not because we're punishing them, but because we're taking ourselves out of a toxic situation and moving ourselves away from it.
Right.
That's very different than shunning, which is you've behaved badly or I disapprove of your behavior and I'm going to not talk to you as a form of punishment.
Mm-hmm. It was really interesting because on that first therapy visit, therapist asked me, well, what if you set the boundary? What if you say to your mom, please don't call. I can't do this. It's not healthy for me, like emotionally, whatever it is. And that thought to me, I've had a couple of weeks to think about it, but that thought to me was terrifying. Like I couldn't fathom telling my mom, I can't talk to you again. I couldn't, in that moment when he asked me, I couldn't fathom not picking up the phone for her. And then, after a little bit of time passed thinking about it, it's like, she could do that to me, but I couldn't do that to her.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's so sad.
It is.
I just can't, I can't even imagine,
And I hearing the hurt in you tells me
so hard not to cry.
That's okay, honey. Don't worry. This is a cry-free zone. We get to cry here. When it comes up, it comes up. But what I'm really hearing you say is, I can't shun my mother. Like I would not do that to her. I would not shun my mother.
Yeah.
So it's not equaling in your mind yet as something to do that protects you and setting a boundary. Like,
yeah.
I don't know how, when I first heard about boundaries, I was like, boundaries? What's that? I mean, I didn't even know what a boundary was. Like, I can say no. I can say, like, we were so trained to just be submissive and to go along with whoever was considered an authority figure in our lives, which were all of the men in the congregation.
Yeah.
Okay, all of them. And then even our sons as they're growing up, if they get baptized, right?
Mm-hmm.
So getting an idea of what boundaries are, it might settle in your brain and your heart differently than what it seems like today.
It surprises me though, because I think I'm very, I've always been one who doesn't hesitate to stick up for herself or to say exactly what I think about something. I usually say it first and then think later. And I'm like, shit, I probably should have said it.
Wow.
That's my personality, right? So It surprises me that I feel paralyzed at the thought of not picking up the phone when she calls. And I think some of it at this point has to do with the fact that, we're getting older, and what if you don't answer that call? What if it's the last call you receive? Or, it's like, I don't know.
No, I hear you. I had, the last time my mother hit me, I was 25 and pregnant with my second child. That's how used to her. That's how used to I was used to being beat by my mother.
I'm sorry.
And what happened was my older daughter came walking in the back door and was going to be able to see my mom beating on me. And my fear was that my mom would get custody of my kids and raise them in that organization. So I knew that and in my mind at that time, whoever was doing the beat down was the higher authority. Mm-hmm. So I could not let my mother see. I could not let my daughter see my mother beat me down, right? So I socked her in the arm. Like, it was pretty pansy-like, but I did. And I told her to never touch me again or I'd kick her ass. And I just went off, screaming and yelling at her like I've never done before. And she just started to back off, looked around, and then just left. And then the neighbors came around to my front door. Are you okay? I'm like, yeah, this is what just happened. And this one gal said to me, you can press charges on your mother. And I went right back into, oh my God, I couldn't do that. Like, I was so, like, I've heard people tell me, why don't you hit your mother back? And I've always thought to myself, oh my God, I couldn't do that. That's how trained I was. But when it came to my daughter, seeing her or me as the final authority, it came up in me. But it wasn't my natural.
Yeah. I can't see these comments are really small. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, I was meaning to get to the comments too. I saw one that, Esther's here. Yay. I saw one that JP was talking about.
JP. Okay, let's see. I have contacts and my eyes are still, I can't see. I'm like,
okay. I can't find, okay, let's see. Hello, Amber. You were one of the first channels I found and binge watched when I woke up 3 years ago. Thank you. Isn't that cool?
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you.
And Dallas is telling San Diego, I missed you at Rick's convention last weekend. Matter of fact, that's true.
How was
People
that?
Say that again, what?
I said, how was that convention? I'm so interested to hear more.
So he filmed most of it. It was very interesting, and just it was the first one. So it went kind of well. Dallas was talking about Heaven's Gate, Marshall Applewood. Yeah. And I do see Faded in San Diego. My thoughts were the convention started on Friday and then it went Saturday and Sunday. So on Friday, when Dallas was asking, where's Faded, I was thinking he must be at work. But yeah. And they're saying hi to Grow Faith. Well, she goes by Grow now. That's cool. Do any of you guys in the audience? Hi, Esther. Good to see you. Do anybody in the audience kind of relate to what we're talking about? This healing kind of thing? Is this going to take forever?
I feel like some of the people here probably seen me cry over these topics on my channel before. So it's like,
I remember one night I called you in the middle of the night because I had just seen the video. I'm like, and I woke you. I woke you up. It was so sad, but I just wanted you to know I saw your video and I cared.
I absolutely always appreciated that. You've done that several times, and it has meant a lot to me because it's something when someone will care enough to just reach out, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I like to validate that you were heard, and I get it. You know,
Yeah.
most people in society at large, they hear what we share, and it's literally unfathomable to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you explain we grew up in a totalitarian regime?
Yeah.
Here in this place called the US, where we're land of the free, but there's these groups where they do that and they get away with it.
It's just so insane. Like, out of all the people in the world, how did we end up there? How did we end up there? Why was that a part of our journey?
I know, right?
For something, right? I mean, preparing us for something. I don't know. But
for I believe both of us, our parents just raised us in it, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I was 7 months old when my mom started her study. So, you know, that's when my indoctrination started.
Yeah.
I was even like thinking about going back and watching some of the videos that I wanted to delete some of them because I was like, oh man, I just sound awful. Or, you know, like I'm crying again about this, or I'm crying again about that. And it's like, I'm just going to leave them because that's a part of my journey.
It is. And I think we cry more when we need to, and then cry less when we don't need to.
It's quite a thing, that organization. It is quite a thing. But what else is going on? What's on your mind today? You always usually start this off with something interesting.
Sometimes I'll talk about politics or what's going on in the organization. And today I just didn't have much of anything, and I was going to open things up for the audience. So when you reached out, I was like, yeah, let's talk about what you want to talk about. And so, yeah, when this healing, like, I want to be done with it too. Like, I really want to be done with it. It's
I want to do a video and be like, I've healed. This is how I did it. These are the steps, and you can do it too. But I'm like, about the same.
Get in my book for $9.99. You too can heal like me.
Yeah.
Which I'm being totally facetious. I really think that we heal until we die. That's my opinion. Especially if you're raised in.
Can I have new programming? That's what I want. I want new, like, positive programming. I don't know, something that makes me think about rainbows and butterflies or something. I don't know.
Rainbows and butterflies are
all of this, like, instead of skulls hanging on my wall. So. But that's my thing. You know, I like that stuff. But
and we grew up in a doomsday cult.
We did.
That kept us in fear a lot. A lot.
I was on TikTok. That's my downfall right there, scrolling on TikTok. But I came across one where there was just a picture. You couldn't see anything else, but it was the picture. And you're going to know as soon as I do this. But everybody's like, you know, this, and all these fireballs are coming down, and they're like, what is it from? And I'm like, Bible story book. Like, you know, how do you know right away? Like,
it's like retrieved in our. Yes.
So
this is what we were raised on. Whereas ordinarily people in mainstream Christianity, they send their kids to Sunday school when they go to church, and they do little things about Noah or whoever.
Age appropriate.
Like Noah's like roundish, and the ark is roundish, and the clouds are all round. Like, it's very soft. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
they're telling the story, but it's very soft. We were looking at literal water, taking this big square ark, and the lady on the top of this mountain holding her baby.
Yeah.
People begging to get into the ark.
Yeah.
They're all going to die. We knew this.
Yeah. Yes. That's something I was telling my therapist too. And I was like, if you think that you have a friend that's a Jehovah's Witness, you don't. They're not really your friend. They are only trying to lure you in, because that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to, unless you convert, they can't really be your friend, you
That's
know.
right.
And then I was saying, what I remember something else is that my mom, when my 15-year-old son, he was probably about 3.5. I remember I was pregnant with my second son, and I didn't even tell her. I was like trying to cover it all up. But she was walking me out. It was like I had visited one time, and I can't remember. I think I was already disfellowshipped, but it wasn't to the point where they were like completely cut you off yet. Anyways, we had walked out, and she reaches into her trunk and she goes to grab a Bible story book, and she went to hand it to my son. And I said, nope, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not trying to be mean to you, but he is not allowed to have that book. And she was like so stunned and taken back by the fact that I wasn't going to allow him to have the Bible story book. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, have you looked at the shit that's in that book?
I know, right?
It's insane. But
sounds like somebody's pressure cooker or something just went off. I don't know what that sound is, but I'm going to read some of the comments. Do you hear that sound, Amber? It sounds like spraying. Do you hear it? No? Okay, then it's just me. All right. Okay. Oh, my daughter's here. Maui Happy Girl. That's my daughter. And Dehydrated Nurse. Hi, hon. Esther says my mom would never come to my defense. She was as much a victim as us kids were. Yeah, Esther had a tough childhood within the organization. Esther says, greetings, beloveds. It's an Amber thing. And all guests. I'm going to test my sound. That's the weirdest thing. Can anybody in the audience hear what I'm hearing? It sounds kind of like the hose has a leak in it and it's spraying like. You can hear it, JP? Okay, good. There's a lot of sound of distortion. I don't know what that is. I'm so sorry, guys. Hey, Purple, good to see you. And Amber doesn't hear it. That's cool. I'm hoping it goes away. So when I muted my sound on this computer, it stopped. And I'm wanting to ask the audience, did it stop? I'm going to mute it again and let me know if the sound stopped. Okay? Okay, they're telling me that when I muted it, it did stop. I've never had this happen. I'm going to see if anything is, there's no Bluetooth hooked up to it or anything like that. My Wi-Fi is working just fine. I don't know why it's making that sound. Yeah, like a pressure cooker. That's exactly what it sounds like. Muting Amber and mute Amber and see if it stops. Okay, Amber, I'm just going to mute you for a minute. It did. It stopped. For some reason, when I muted you, it stopped. If you want, you can step out and come back in. Would you do that, Amber? Okay, you're talking and I can't hear you. Okay, you left. You left. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so she left, which is good. And then I'll have her come back in. Okay. Thanks for giving me the feedback, you guys. Everything was fine. And then the noise came out of nowhere. I know, it's weird. So it was coming from Amber. Thanks for suggesting that, Purple. I appreciate that. And Dehydrated Nurse, I think you were saying something about something being unacceptable. Let's see. Whoa, whoa, whoa. She broke my nose and glasses. One time she whipped me so bad. Oh no, is this when you were a kid? Okay, I think she's back. Yes. Let's add to the stage. Welcome back. And now the sound has returned with you on the stage. And I don't know why. And see, you're talking and I can't see what you're saying, and your mic is on. I have a suggestion. Maybe you can oh, she stepped away. Maybe you can reboot. They will need to connect their mic and camera before you can add them to the stream. That's what's going on with Amber. So if you can hear me, it was saying that you had to connect your mic and camera. Dehydrated Nurse, was this stuff that happened to you when you were a kid? Getting hurt like that? So horrible. I'm just going to take a minute and text Amber. And thank you for dealing and bearing with me. She's coming back. Okay.
Let's see if I can. I did go
Hi.
on the phone now. Hi.
You're on the phone? Yeah. Okay. I can hear you, and I don't hear that sound. I was just getting ready to text you. That was smart. You went to another device? Very smart.
Okay. Let's see. I don't know. This is kind of different. Do you know how do I get my face off of the bottom?
You're not wanting to show your face?
No, I don't mind showing my face, but it's like in two places. It's not a big deal.
I'm not sure how to do that.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Oh, good.
See, it all works out.
Double Amber. Amber, double. Double Amber.
I can't take two of me. I can barely take one.
Right? That's too funny. Okay. Oh, wow. My daughter even said she saw you side by side.
Did really? I was on there twice for everybody.
Yeah. So Sarah, she said she got it to where it works. It's perfect now. Dehydrated Nurse said. Okay. So Dehydrated Nurse, what you were talking about, was this during your childhood, the injuries? No? Okay. Sarah says no. Esther says, I only see one ember, and she's beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
You really are. And the you I've come to know, it's like I always like knowing someone who's beautiful but not conceited. And you're one of those people who you're beautiful and you know you're beautiful, but you don't act conceited. And it's just really nice to be around
Oh,
women or men that know that they have a handsome look or a beautiful look, but they don't act conceited. It's just so unattractive when people do.
I know, it's gross.
So dehydrated nurse said yes. So I'm taking it as what she was talking about is when she was a kid. I believe she was talking about abuse when she was a kid. I'm so sorry to hear that. That's so horrible. Purple says, when I first opened the show, that was my first thought. Who is this beautiful lady, right?
Oh, thank you.
You do. You have a very unique beauty to you. I think one of the first things I noticed with you is like you look Hispanic, but you look very Native American. And I love that Native American look.
That's what I need to explore that a little bit. I have a friend who is Native, and she's like, "Do you have Native American in you?" And I was like, "I don't know. I just know that I have Hispanic in me. That's all. I'm Mexican."
Yeah.
He's like, "No, I think you are. I think you have some Native American in you because it just like in your cheekbones or something." And I was like,
Yes,
"Check it
I
out."
see that. I think she's on to something, definitely. Dehydrated nurse. And when she broke my nose and glasses, it was when we were in the truth. Oh my goodness. Sarah, daughter, that's what we called this cult when we were growing, when I was the truth. Yeah, the truth. Quote unquote, the truth. Yeah,
That
it's a
came
trip.
up in therapy too. The fact that we call it the truth.
Yes.
Because I was telling him how I returned when, as I had gotten older, and he was like boggled, right? And I'm like, but we were told it was the truth. It was like the truth. So why would you not return to something that, I don't know, weird, but yeah, the truth. And
I think it's just, okay, I've seen like comments and stuff where people are angry and they're like talking to people that are in a cult like, you're effing stupid. And I don't think people in society at large understand the process that it takes for us to be in a place of doing what we're instructed to do by them.
yeah,
They have to gaslight us. They have to convince us that how we think and what our heart tells us and what our intuition tells us is unreliable.
yeah,
It's actually dangerous.
right.
And they are the source of speaking for God. So let's see. Pay attention to myself, listen to myself, who's imperfect, and gosh, I know about all my mistakes, right? Or getting instruction from God. We had to be gaslit, meaning we had to be gaslighting when someone gaslights a person, they're trying to convince the other person that they are mentally a bit unwell or a lot unwell and that they need somebody else to make those decisions for them.
Yeah.
That's what we got convinced to do, to allow this organization that claimed to speak for God to make decisions for us.
Right. Like nothing, like we're not right, and not to lean on our own understanding.
Right? That's scripture. Don't lean not on your own understanding, and your heart is treacherous. They showed this stuff to us in scripture.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't just, we got really fooled.
Yeah.
They conned us.
Bamboozled.
Mm-hmm.
Bamboozled. Yeah. It's really sad. It's sad. And it makes me really sad to hear Dehydrated say that she went through this abuse. You went through this abuse during a time when people were supposed to be in the truth, and the ones to look up to, the ones who put themselves on a pedestal. We could be no part of the world because we were better than that. but yet
Yes.
all these things were unfolding behind closed doors that
Hmm.
were unspeakable.
Yes. And we got convinced not to share it with anybody because why? It could
Reproach.
bring reproach. Yes. It came right to you. We said it at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It could bring reproach upon Jehovah. They told us we represent Jehovah.
Yeah.
Like, that's something Judge Rutherford came up with. And judge, he was a pseudo judge, a fake judge. It was actually more of a nickname. He was not a judge. But that's something, he was a lawyer. That's something Judge Rutherford came up with. And it's very much like somebody showing up to court to be a witness for you, to speak for your character,
Mm-hmm.
to represent you. Like, Amber's a really good person. I'm sure she didn't murder those 3 people that pissed her off. No, she's a good person.
Right.
So I can't imagine her doing that, right? So I'm doing this because I don't want to bring reproach upon you.
You know, one of the questions that the therapist had asked me was, you know, when did I first realize that I was involved in a cult? And the answer to that is surprising. But I said probably when I was about 8 years old. And he's like, what? And he's like, you put that together at that age? And he's like, hey, what made you put that together? And I said, I think the fact that my cousin was being essayed by her father, and my mom and my aunt were talking about it, but the police were not involved. And we weren't allowed to get the police involved. And it was a hush, hush, brush it under the rug type of thing, because my uncle was an elder. And
Wow.
at that time, I just was like, what? Like,
Right?
she's being harmed. She's, you know, this is happening to her. And why aren't the police here, kind of thing, you know? And so I think from that time was my unraveling, you know, and which is, it's such a young age. So to say unraveling sounds like a big thing, but it's like, you know, you're programmed into this. So everything that your reality at that point kind of starts to shatter, you know? And so it's just, I think from that point, like forward, it was like all the little things was just one more crack in the glass that was like, what is this? What are we a part of? When do you think you realized it?
I'm 11 years old. I was 11 years old in 1975. And I was counting the days from the time I was 11 to get the hell out of my parents' house and out of that religion. And what was interesting is, so 75, 76, 77, 78 is when Jonestown happened with Jim Jones and People's Temple.
Mm-hmm.
They were in Guyana, and what had happened was a suicide. Okay, so this is back when newspapers were in what is called a newsstand.
Right.
And one of the newspapers would be pushed up against the glass. So you'd be able to see what the front page said. You'd put a quarter in this machine, lift it up and grab your paper and pull it out. So you could see what's on the front page. And I remember looking at that, seeing all these people face down on this really beautiful green grass. I knew they were all dead. And it was, they considered that all of them had committed suicide, even though that we found out later that it was also a massacre. And I remember looking at them going, I get it. Like, I knew exactly why they all did that, but I didn't know how to vocalize it.
Yeah.
So it was a moment for me. So I was probably 13 or 14 at that time. And I remember just knowing that could happen to me, especially because my mother had a card and had my sister and I carry a card about not taking any blood. Okay. So if we ever got in a car accident, I knew my whole childhood that my mother would not let me accept any kind of a blood transfusion, and she would let me die. That's not normal.
Yeah.
That's not, I knew that that was not what a normal mother would allow to happen. But I knew that she would let me die in order to please Jehovah. That is not normal.
I remember thinking that as well. I remember with having those thoughts. I don't remember at what age, but knowing that if something happened to me, she wasn't going to save me.
Yes, she wasn't going to save me. I don't think I ever wanted my kids to ever think that for a minute, that any circumstance would ever come up that I would reject them to not be my family again or let them die by not doing something
Right.
because it's the right thing to do, which is how a Jehovah's Witness really believes it's the right thing to do, to not take blood if a blood transfusion is needed. It's I truly believe that Nathan Noor, the president at that time, when they started this teaching, I believe that he signed up the Jehovah's Witnesses to be guinea pigs for bloodless medicine. And
Out that one bit.
yeah, I wouldn't doubt it either, but it took me a while to kind of come up with this. So when a Jehovah's Witness is knowing that they're not supposed to take blood, because we've seen scriptures that's been said that Jehovah doesn't want us to, and we know we should not take blood, and somebody comes to us and says, well, we have this experimental thing that's, a replacement for blood. It might work or it might not, but the statistics are this. A Jehovah's Witness is going to be like, yeah, I'll try that. It sets them up for that. And I also think that's why they stopped allowing Jehovah's Witnesses to smoke. They didn't get to smoke anymore.
For the blood, for
to be able to be in those, those tests. What are those things called? So, like, I've been able to look at different medical sites, like Something Med, or like they have all these different cases. You never see the person's name, but you'll read out these cases where a Jehovah's Witness had like a had a heart transplant with blood substitute, and this is how it came out. So it's documented in a lot of areas that Jehovah's Witnesses have taken a blood substitute for this situation or that situation or this situation. And they talk about the person of, this is what they had and this was what we did and this was the outcome.
Wow.
So
that's you know what? This is one thing that's never even crossed my mind, but that is so interesting. I'm gonna have to look into this more.
Yeah, these colleges and stuff like that, or I don't even know, medical sites. You know who would know is Dehydrated Nurse, because she's like all into that. She's a nurse and would know. Hey, Miss Dehydrated.
Dehydrated Nurse.
Do you have some suggestions of like links we could look at about that, what I was just now talking about? I hope you're still here. So I know I'm not saying it right. I'm just saying like Something Med, and I know I'm not saying it right. Yeah, a normal mother would fight for her daughter's life. Yes, that's right. Purple says, that is what my family could never admit about my growing up. I was constantly bullied at home, and my father was an abusive alcoholic. I realized from a young age that no one was going to protect me. What a sick feeling.
My dad was also an abusive alcoholic. So
Yeah,
I yeah,
mine
that's true.
too.
Those are things that they will never admit. They will never admit to those things. I
Yeah,
remember too, like, and it did it in my situation. I mean, probably very different than Purple, but I felt that was a good word to use, bullied. I did feel very bullied a lot of times, especially like if I didn't feel well and I asked to stay home from a meeting because I wasn't feeling well. It was like such an ordeal. You're on restriction, you're getting this taken away if you don't go, or if you felt sick when you were there and you felt like you needed to go home. It was like such a situation. So
negative
over.
consequences.
Ah,
Esther says my dad was an alcoholic too. So the question is, dehydrated nurse, um, do you know of any links that like kind of says what patients have gone through? I know there's one called something med, and I've gone there before, and I'll put in Jehovah's Witness or Jehovah's Witnesses, and usually they never say the name. They never say the name of the patient, but they'll say that this patient was a Jehovah's Witness and they couldn't take blood, but they used bloodless PubMed. Maybe so.
that's
Maybe so.
interesting though, that they would name them as they would say what their religion is. Like, why would they do that?
Because it's well known within the medical world that we don't take blood. And nurses are trained to be sensitive. Isn't that correct, dehydrated nurse? Like they're trained to have to be sensitive to patients that will refuse blood transfusions. It's actually not with kids, but with adults. Like the leadership has gone to court and everything to fight for that right to refuse blood.
Yeah, for that.
PubMed. Let me try that.
I went to reach for my phone, but it's in front of me.
That's what I was thinking too. Thank you, dehydrated nurse. Okay, I'm going to see if I can open something up. Okay, what I just saw, right, what I'm seeing now as I open this up is the National Institute of Health, and this is a government thing. Club Med Central, Club Med Wikipedia explains it. So I'm just going to open up the National Institution. And okay, so it's opened up. So I'm going to go to the search bar. And what it's showing me right now on the left is something that says all databases. So I hope I'm in the right place. So I'm going to put in here Jehovah's Witnesses and see what they have documented. So now I'm looking at something that says bookshelf, mesh, NLM catalog, PubMed. There's over 1,000 there. PubMed Central, over 1,000 there. Bio Project. So as I'm scrolling down, I'm seeing different subjects where Jehovah's Witnesses might be.
I opened it up and I went right into it, and it has a search bar, and I started to write JEH, and it just came up like a ton of different things.
Okay.
Witnesses, like different ways to.
Thank you, dehydrated nurse.
Transfusion support and alternatives.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
So since I'm looking at a whole bunch of different sections that I just read off, I'm going to pick one of the two that had over 1,000 and open that up. So one is PubMed, one is PubMed Central. I'm just going to go with PubMed and see what opens up. Okay. And the search bar already has Jehovah's Witnesses in it. And yes, you're right. It's PubMed, but it's also Natural Library of Medicine. And this is from the government. It's not like some certain.
Is it this one? Are you looking at the one that says, I don't know, can you see it? It says like NIH at the top?
Yes. It says NIH at the top, but then under that it's saying PubMed
Mhm.
and under Jehovah's Witnesses, one of the first things that's coming up is chemotherapy without blood products for treatment of acute, God, I can't even say the word, but something leukemia in anemic Jehovah's Witness patient. So they're not saying the person's name. And then it begins to say what they did. So this is a case, you know, a dream or reality. Consideration of bloodless hematopoietic stem cell transplants for Jehovah's Witness patients. Stem cells transplants, that's interesting. And this one actually says free article. So I'm going to open that up because not all articles will be available to read. And this is actually from, I believe, 2025. Abstract background: hematopoietic stem cell transplant, HSCT, is an important part of treatment for many hematologic conditions. The high dose chemotherapy used in HSCTs puts patients at risk of significant whatever. It's explaining doctor talk, okay? This medical field talk. And it goes into what they did and why kind of things, or it's educate you on this certain kind of situation. Conclusion: careful planning and tailored regimens support, I can't even say this word, I'm sorry guys, achievability of bloodless HSCT in patients such as Jehovah's Witnesses, allowing practitioners to provide care to a previously excluded group and minimizes the use of blood products in all HSCT patients. So this is like something that, you know, we didn't get to hear the person's name, so it's anonymous still, but they've literally done some adjusting so that they could serve a Jehovah's Witness medically, you know?
Wow. I wonder if there's any other religions or organizations or cults or that are no blood like this. Do you know any?
There's the Moonies have had certain weddings, and I used to listen to a podcast from the kids from the Moonies that are all adults now, talking about what it was like when they were in the Moonies. The kids from like these certain weddings, like he used to have these mass weddings. So the kids from those weddings are supposed to have like this pure bloodline. It's part of the part of the belief system, and they're not supposed to have blood transfusions. I heard them say that one day and about dropped my drink. I'm like, what? You know, I didn't think anybody else had that mindset. But it's not all Moonies. It's just that certain group of Moonies.
Interesting.
Yeah, so if you ever want to look this up, like Dehydrated Nurse told us, PubMed. Thank you, Dehydrated Nurse. I appreciate that a lot. There's all kinds of different medical situations that have gone by.
This list, I just put in what religions do not allow blood transfusions, and it says Jehovah's Witness and Orthodox Judaism.
Orthodox Judaism?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Got to run? Okay, Esther. Good night. It's really good to see you. Dehydrated Nurse. Scientologists don't take blood either. Are you serious? Oh my goodness. By the way, Dehydrated Nurse, 9 inches. Are y'all bloody? Okay. This is weird. I don't know about y'all, but that profile picture just really looked like 9 whole inches, you know? I didn't think it needed to stick around. Get hydrated, nurse. That's what I heard. Let me Google it. Okay. Who believes they are the elite, the purebloods? Oh, good question. Good question. Okay, dehydrated nurse. Speaking of Scientologists, RFK Jr., am I saying that right? The one that's in charge of our health now?
Yeah.
He's a lawyer, and from what I've read about the lawyers that he used to be around, maybe he's still around them, I don't know. Most of them are Scientologists. And that concerned me. I have not read anything that would make me think he himself is a Scientologist, but those people that he was at that place where he used to work or still does work, I don't know. They are Scientologists. And the thing about Scientologists is they're very, very, very anti-medication. Anti-medication, especially psych meds. Especially psych meds.
So they're not for taking psych meds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, it's Christian Science? Dehydrated nurse says, oh, it's Christian Science.
Oh, not Scientology?
I don't know if she's answering me. Oh, Scientologists don't take blood either. I think she means it's Christian Science that doesn't take blood. I think that's what she means. I believe he identifies as some form of Christian, possibly Catholic.
Oh, sure. Different than Scientologists.
Oh, meaning, okay, RFK. Yeah, they are the family. The family is mainly Catholic, aren't they? Yeah, if it was what most of the family thinks, that's right. It was kind of a big deal. JFK was going to be president because he was a Catholic. That was kind of a thing that came up, right? Is that different than Scientologist? Yes, Christian Science is different than Scientologist.
Yeah.
They're, from everything I've learned from both of them, they're both considered a cult. And when I talk about a cult, you know, cult comes from the word culture. And usually I'm talking about a high controlled, high demand group that's very restrictive to the behavior of people within the followers, you know. Dehydrated nurse. Is Christian Science different than Scientologist, Linda? Yes, they are different. Did I already answer that? I did, yeah. So it's stuff like this that just sends me on a Google search.
Yeah.
I'll spend half a day just learning about this. You know, what would be learning about what the difference is, you know? Although Christian scientists also have restrictions about not allowing many medical procedures. Yeah, they don't. That's correct. I had a client years ago who had left Christian Science. And what was interesting is they have like a journal or something that's different people, like, I don't know enough about it. But when you see the name of a journalist at the end of an article and they say their experience, there's been a few times I've seen that it'll say that they wrote for Christian Science. I don't know what it's called, magazine, a journal, I'm not sure what it was called. But it was like, I've seen more than 2 people say that, like it's a thing to do. And in my mind, it's a cult, so I don't know why anybody would
want to stay there.
Yes.
Prepare from that.
But see, I have this different view. You know, how does society at large look at it? Is that something that society at large, you know, often looks at? I don't know, you know.
I think that society at large when they think about a cult, they think about something satanic in nature. So when anybody says Christian Science or Scientology or Jehovah's Witness, as long as there's some kind of like Christ based faith, they
Yes.
totally disconnect it from like there being a possibility of it being a cult, which
Right.
couldn't be further from the truth in our case, right?
Exactly. Dallas says, Worldwide Church of God is an extremist cult too, by Herbert Armstrong. So if you know of Dan and Angela Clark, Angela grew up in the Worldwide Church of God, which is very similar to Jehovah's Witnesses. Plus, it has like, she would explain it like a mixture of JWs and Jewish religion, which is like, to me, what JWs are. They brought up all kinds of Jewish teachings.
Yeah.
And then John said, Mary Baker Eddy founded in Christian Science about the same time C.T. Russell started the Watchtower. They both used the cross and crown symbols. That's true. That was a thing at the time, you know.
Yeah, I remember magazines with the cross and the crown on them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was some kind of it wasn't looked upon as being anything bad at the time, and that was way before Rutherford the second president, who decided that Jesus died on a stake.
Yeah.
So they were using crosses before that, and Judge Rutherford also was teaching about worshiping Jesus. Okay, which today worshiping Jesus is not allowed. It's why would we worship Jesus when we've been trained that he's Michael the Archangel? We don't worship creation, we worship the Creator, you know.
Yeah.
So as time has gone by, different beliefs have changed for us. I'm sorry for Jehovah's Witnesses.
I know. I'm like, stop saying us. Don't do it. We're not there anymore. Take me back.
I stand corrected. You know what? You're so right about that. I've told myself I need to watch that because it's not me anymore.
Yeah.
But gosh, see how ingrained it is in me? It is my culture of origin. And I really have a heart for Jehovah's Witnesses, you know, like, to me, they're my people. They're my people, and I care about them. And I care about people that, you know, they're questioning and they're going through that time of fear, and, you know, what if it's not the truth? And that's a terrifying time, you know. And my heart hopes for people to become free from this organization of bondage. You know, I don't have the mindset like stop believing in God or anything. I mean, I'm okay with people what their belief system is. You know, I'm really good with that.
Yeah.
I just hate the techniques and tactics that are really toxic and damaging to people.
I feel like I don't so much know that I connect with Jehovah's Witnesses like they're my people. I think I connect more with the ex-Jehovah's Witness community in they're my people kind of a way. And I feel sorry for the majority of witnesses, but I see some of the comments that are made on social media and on, you know, just on some, it takes such a great amount of love to talk about your experience in this cult and to try and warn other people and just see how those people are attacked and you know by the witnesses. It's like it's so ugly to me. And I mean, I used to be one of those people.
Me too, right? Mm-hmm.
but I just feel kind of a disconnection at this point with the witnesses. And I guess maybe I can count that as growth.
That's definitely growth because I don't hear you saying us anything. Good for you, sis. Good for you.
Oh, there's so many pieces, so many different pieces and parts to this. Go ahead.
So we have Shaq joining us. Welcome, Zach. Shaq.
Hi, Linda. Hi, Amber. Can you hear me okay?
Hi, yeah.
What's on your mind?
Oh, nothing. I just wanted to, a little bit. I just wanted to say hi and say hi to Amber because she kind of disappeared for a long time. But yeah, like you were saying earlier, she was one of the first channels that I listened to when I woke up about 3.5 years ago.
That's so awesome. Thank you so much. So how are you doing these days? So it's been a few years.
Yeah, I'm doing okay. It was I think about the first year when I woke up, it was a phase of just deconstructing the whole religion and stuff. And then after that, I was still a Christian, which I still am. And I went to some churches and stuff for the first time and went about that. But I haven't been to any churches or anything in a while, but I'm still a Christian, but I just had to kind of experience that myself. Something I never got to experience. And then just meeting new people. And then I've been to several XJW meetups and other stuff. So I've got to help and talk to other people that have gone to the same struggles as us.
Dallas has now joined us as well. Welcome, Dallas.
Hi, Dallas.
Hi there. How y'all? Hi, Linda, Amber, and Shaq. Y'all there?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Hi, Dallas.
Good.
And I've mentioned some cults in the comments,
I noticed that. Yeah.
and I've mentioned something about the Hasidic and the Haredim over in Israel.
Hasidic and what else?
Haredim.
I'm not familiar. I don't think I've heard
They're
of
the
that.
ones that wear those dark outfits and they storm into Christian churches or Muslim mosque and they say death to Arabs or to Christians.
Oh my. Okay. Wow. That's intense.
Yeah.
They're like, do we just think of them as the WBC, the Westboro Baptist cult of Israel, or that's what we can, or that, I think it is, and they will even spit at and throw stones at cars, I understand. Seeing it on
Wow.
videos.
Okay.
That they really hate Gentiles. This group.
Okay.
And they hate the more liberal, mainstream, westernized counterparts of their own. The extremely ultra-Orthodox.
Yeah.
That's a cult too.
It seems like I might have seen a little something like that on video. And when somebody approaches them, they're very hostile. Like, get out of here. What are you doing here? Like, this is like you have no business even walking around them. But I don't know. That's interesting. When you get it, there's a gal. She goes by, I think, Jenny. And she has a channel called Life Take Two. And she's a previous Mormon. Her channel is amazing. And it's Mormons was one of the first religions I compared to Jehovah's Witnesses.
Me too.
Their doctrines might be a bit different, but the techniques and tactics that are used
The control.
on the followers to get them to comply and to want to stay in there and make it very hard for them to leave are the same ones that are used on Jehovah's Witnesses.
Except they don't prohibit certain things and they're more normal. And actually, they allow you to get an education in college. And of course, their average income is higher too.
Yes. You're right.
Live in nicer houses, drive nicer cars on average.
Mm-hmm. There's BYU University, Brigham Young University. People are encouraged to go to that college. And so there's...
Are those colleges connected to that organization?
Yes. Brigham Young.
On those people who are getting a higher education type thing?
I didn't hear what you said. Say that again, please.
I said, so is their organization making money on the people who are entering that college, or like, is it a money system for them?
I'm not sure. It sounds like it is. I'm not sure though how it all works. That's like the preferential college to go to. I'm sure that I have never heard anything like they're forbidden to go to any other college or any other university, but that's kind of like the destination college for Mormons. And then they also do like 2 years of ministry work.
Missionary.
Yes. Usually before they get married. Yeah, it is before they get married. Yeah. So they do some things that are similar, but yet very different. And they started like 80 to maybe 80 years before the Jehovah's Witnesses did. They are filthy rich. Incredibly. That's an incredibly rich organization.
But then there's different ones. There's the FLDS, the fundamentalists, and then they got the mainstream. The leaders of the mainstream ones, such as that Warren Jeffs,
yes,
and also the Kingston Clan and what they call the Order, the United Order. The leaders of them, have been excommunicated. They were excommunicated, this fellowship, from the mainstream Mormon church.
Okay.
And they practice polygamy, but the mainstream no longer does.
That's correct. Your mainstream Mormon does not practice polygamy. Matter of fact, they wanted to go to Utah because it was still part of Mexico.
Really?
The U.S. were having big problems with the Mormons. Like, they were just doing their thing, and people were like, "Oh hell no!" And they'd bully them and kind of chase them out of town. And yeah. So they have a few groups that branched off from them, much like Charles Taze Russell. Once he died, there was a few things that branched off from him. And even the Jehovah's Witnesses are branched off from something else. I don't even remember. But if you go to Wikipedia and you just look up Jehovah's Witnesses, there's a little thing in there that'll show you what groups have branched off from where. So you can see that that's a normal thing that happens.
So wait, there's certain groups that have branched off from the Jehovah's Witnesses?
Before it was
a lot of them.
Really?
Before it was Jehovah's Witnesses, it was
the Bible students.
Yes.
Well, I mean, but that kind of combined into one, right? So Bible students no longer exist now. It's Jehovah's Witnesses, correct?
The
Bible students. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
The International Bible students still exist. There's probably only around 300,000 or so of them that still exist. But honestly, I was when I first woke up about a year and a half ago, I wanted to go to a Bible students group just to visit their church and see what it was like. But they're really nice people, and they still believe in everything that witnesses used to believe in, they still read and distribute all of Russell's books. I even got a whole set of studies in the scriptures instead of in some of his other writings from the Bible students. I wrote to him, and they still bound and publish his old books that Watchtower doesn't publish, and they sent me a whole set of his books.
6
And
of
they
them?
still believe in 1914 and all that, and they just have a little bit of a different interpretation. They have a YouTube channel. It's kind of interesting if you go on it, but they still give talks and they have meetings. It's funny, but they all the sisters in the meetings, they all wear, what do they call it? Like head coverings.
Yes.
But they allow their sisters in the meetings to do stuff like the microphones and stuff like that. It's just like a
Okay.
Jehovah's Witness meeting. They
Yeah.
use Jehovah constantly, but the sisters will do microphones. But if they do microphones, they have to have a head covering and stuff like that. It's kind of funny.
So the Seventh-day Adventist was a branch of Jehovah's Witnesses as well?
Are you looking at that thing that I was telling you about?
Well, I'm looking at the comment right here.
Oh,
They
okay.
were a branch off of the Adventists, actually.
Jehovah's
That
Witnesses.
originated off of the Millerite movement.
Yeah, the Millerite started the Second Adventist, and then later is the Seventh-day Adventist, and the Jehovah's Witnesses, and many other groups. There's so many. It would be, you'd have to go to Wikipedia, but there's literally dozens of groups. There's even like Dawn Bible students, which are different than the International Bible students, but they believe in Russell's teachings, and there's probably only a couple thousand of them, and they're still located in Allegheny, Pennsylvania, and the area where Russell started, but they don't really branch out much farther than that. But a lot of them, they have great grandparents that were Bible students, and it's just really wild if you the whole history. I mean, I'm interested in stuff like that.
So JP, Dehydrated Nurse is asking, do the Russellites still exist? So would the International be considered the Russ? I mean, they were called the Russellites. Was that just by other people outside of the group called them Russellites? Or
Yeah, I think it was other people outside of the group, just because even later there was people that called the Jehovah's Witnesses Rutherfordites and stuff like that.
okay,
But
yeah.
I don't think as a group, as in them themselves, they never started calling themselves that. Other people called them that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the answer to that. They never really called themselves that, but I think that is more of the public at that time making fun of them than for them taking pride in that name.
Oh.
Yeah. Hello, Del Rio and Mermaid. It's good. I'm glad you guys are here. Thank you for showing up. Yeah, so it's a trip. Okay, like
Yeah, definitely.
during the turn of the century of 1800 to 1900, Charles Taze Russell, was very into pyramidology.
Mm.
Oh, I need to ask JP a question. When you said they sent you the volumes, was it 6 of them?
They sent me that, and then there was another book. It's called The Tabernacle. Oh, I can't remember the whole title.
Okay.
But these are all real books because you can read about them in the Proclaimer's book. And I actually have the real original ones from the 1800s and the early 1900s that were actually published by Watchtower. And I pretty much compared them. I didn't read both of them like word for word, but if you really flip through them, it's pretty much, it's the same book. And those were Russell's writings, and they were copywritten at that time. So they're just pretty much, it's just like when a publishing company goes out of business or refuses to publish the person, it's still copywritten. So if another publisher chooses to start publishing them again and want to undertake that, then they're allowed to do that. So that's what the Bible students are doing.
Okay, because the 7th volume, when Judge Rutherford took over, he was
Yeah,
claiming
that is
that.
not included. That is the apostate book to the Bible students.
It's an apostate book.
See,
Well, they
Rutherford,
broke out from the Jehovah's Witnesses, or it was before the Jehovah's Witnesses, but the Rutherford ones. So when they had that split, if you go to like a Bible students meeting, they still consider Jehovah's Witnesses like the Matthew 25, like 47 or 48, the evil slave.
yeah, we're the
That's what
apostate.
they consider them.
Mhm.
And Watchtower, they used to do the opposite on them up until I think like the 1990s or so. They interpreted that as the evil slave was the people that pretty much left the Bible students in 1919, when they had that big fiasco, and after Russell died and there was a struggle who was going to take over the presidency, and it ended up Rutherford.
Right.
Rutherford always taught, and the society always taught up until I think like the 1990s. It's even published
So
up until
Russell-
the Revelation
Russell
book.
died. Russell died in 1916. Rutherford
Correct.
died in 1942. The organization became Jehovah's Witnesses 1931, right?
Yes,
Okay. I was just wanting to put that out there.
but from 1916 to 1941, it was always just the international Bible students, but there was always a struggle, and there was always a small a faction that left too that called themselves Bible students. But the reason why they weren't noticed was because when Russell died, Rutherford inherited all the printing presses, so they were able to get more what we would call media at that time. They were more widely known. They started doing their sound cards, having radio stations and stuff like that. And the
Yep.
Bible students, even though they left, Rutherford got all the money and everything that Russell left behind. He got the printing presses. So even though most of the Bible students left, they're pretty much like broke. They didn't have any facilities. They didn't have Brooklyn or Pennsylvania printing facilities. So they were just a small group. So they just started like the old original Christians. They were just meeting in houses,
Mhm.
and they had to start from meeting from there to their own, getting a brick and mortar place, and then up until what they are now, which is only about 300,000 people. But the reason why they survived after Russell died was because Rutherford inherited all the wealth, the printing press. He had all the means to keep the organization going. And they were just expelling and kicking out people that were in opposition to anything that man had to say at that time.
Rutherford was. Rutherford was the lawyer of Russell. So it was Rutherford's idea to move to New York. And then Russell put all his money into the company in New York. And this was so he wouldn't have to pay, Russell wouldn't have to pay any alimony to his wife when they separated. So they went to New York. So Rutherford had access to everything. So when he showed up to take over, he could, because he had access to everything as Russell's lawyer.
And on top of that, he was a lawyer, so he was a man of the law, so he knew what documents he had to print up, who he needed to get signed in order to obtain full control of the organization.
Yes.
It's all documented in books and, in Watchtower history, the apostate history that we know, the true history of Watchtower.
And if anybody, in the audience, if you guys want to take a little walk down JW Lane, there's a channel called Watchtower History. They used to be making videos on a regular basis, but they have like a huge amount of documentation that they've put out there that's extremely accurate, and they both were never Jehovah's Witnesses. One is named Jeff and the other one's name is Paul. Jeff once studied with witnesses. Paul grew up around witnesses, so neither one of them were ever baptized. Therefore, they're not apostates. But
No,
they've
they're
done.
both historians and researchers.
Mhm.
Yeah, very good channel, Linda.
Yeah, very good channel.
What is it called again?
Watchtower History. So you might see it as WT History. And it's a YouTube channel, but I find it very fascinating. And it's cool because Jeff and Paul, they've got different personalities and stuff, yet when they talk together, it's such a casual conversation, just like we're doing now, you know? And Jeff has got a huge library of Watchtower literature. And he usually brings it in and we'll have a subject to talk about. And they'll usually stay on the subject for a good 6 videos or so. So they have a playlist of these different subjects that they've done. But what they really tried to do was start like from the beginning and going forward. So it's a really cool channel. They've had a few guests on that were like prominent people of the organization. And that's where
It's a lot of videos.
it is. And so there was a gentleman who wrote the book, a book called The Coup of, basically the 7th volume of the Millennial Dawn, or Studies in the Scriptures, was written by Rutherford. But Rutherford claimed he was finishing writing it for Russell, as if Russell started it and it needed to be finished, which Russell did not. He did not start it. It was Rutherford's idea, and he claimed that Russell started it.
Wow.
And it was a pretty crazy
More
story.
traction that way.
What?
I said, do you think it would gain more traction that way by saying that he was finishing something off for somebody who was well respected, or
He was even talking like as if Russell had something to do with the writing that was happening of that book, like from behind the veil, you know? It was, yeah.
Hey, Linda,
Yes.
I wanted to tell Amber real quick how I woke up and how fast I found her channel.
Okay, I'm going to go potty, guys.
okay.
Y'all can be okay. I'll just take a small break.
All right.
Linda, make it snappy. No.
We'll be here waiting for you.
Okay, I'm still listening, but go ahead.
Oh, can you hear me, Amber?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I woke up pretty much like it only took me like one weekend to wake up really from like watching XJW videos and content. But I was raised as a JW, and when I woke up I was 38. I'm 42 now, but I was 38 when I woke up. And the first channel that I remember watching was this remember that channel, I don't know if you heard her, it's called Cali Girl.
I'm not sure. I have to go look for it. I don't think
Yeah,
so.
she's not a witness, but she makes XJW content. But she was in front of the pyramid, in front of like Russell's grave site, and she was making a video about that, and that started waking me up. And then the other channels that I was listening to, that I started watching was JW Struggle, Lloyd Evans, Critical Thinkers, and then I think Ricky Gonzalez. And then all of a sudden your channel popped up. It's an Amber thing, and then it said something about like a Watchtower or something. It was like condoning pedophiles. I don't know if you remember when you made that, if you made that video or not.
I remember it. I don't remember everything that I said though. Tell me.
I don't even remember it anymore. It was like around 3.5 years ago, but I had no clue, because when really what woke me up, because people wake up from different things. Some of it's like the CSA stuff, some of it's doctrinal,
Yeah.
different things. Some of them have a bad experience with the elders, or the people at the Kingdom Hall, and that's why they leave.
Yeah.
Me, the reason why I woke up, it was all doctrinal.
Yeah.
So I was binge watching like Critical Thinkers and all these channels about the Doctor, 1914 and about all this other stuff. And then your channel popped up and it was exposing all the stuff about the pedophilia and, the Australian Royal Commission and all that. But you were the first channel I think that really exposed me to like it was that big of a problem.
I'm
And then after that, you get into a rabbit hole. And then I was listening, to all you. I binge watch all your videos too in like probably half a week or so. Because when you wake up,
you want to hear
you're
all
kind
this
of like in
information.
shock, and that's all you can do and think about is just
Yeah.
watch videos and do research. So it seemed like the first year after I woke up, that's almost all I was doing was just watching XJW stuff until I started kind of like living my own life, for real and figuring out what I wanted to do after that. But it really took me a year to deconstruct everything because I was just raised in that and I was a third generation. So that's all I had ever known.
Yeah. I'm happy to hear that you were able to deconstruct, because that's something that I don't know at what point you came into the conversation, but Linda and I had started out talking about just that very thing is um, me feeling like I'm going to therapy now, and we were kind of talking about the Jehovah's Witnesses, the cult, and I was saying how do you heal? It's like you have to deprogram, you have to deconstruct what was built inside of you, what all that your foundations. And I'm like, asking like how do you do that? And this is me talking after growing up in the organization, but even talking about it for years and years, in videos. And so it makes me so, so happy to hear that you were able to break free from the confines of that way of thinking, because it's really hard.
No, it's definitely hard. And I agree. Like, I'm glad you're seeking out therapy and stuff. I've never done it myself. I've considered it, and people have told me you really should try it. I think it would, help you, me. And so that's something I have to think about because it's really not normal, the way we were raised and all that, constantly having to like leave the classroom because of a birthday party and other stuff. And then
Yeah.
another thing that was terribly disturbing to me, and it's not like something you can just talk to, with a workmate or somebody, a good friend that was never a Jehovah's Witness, was realizing that you're going to die someday. Because even though I woke up when I was 38, I was at different phases. Like I'd been disfellowshipped before, got reinstated, went back in the organization. I was physically out, but mentally in for about 10 years, which is a nightmare because I was trying to live a normal life as, what they would say is a worldly person and stuff. But you can't even date somebody at like being physically out, mentally in without constantly looking over your shoulder, wondering if there's an elder or somebody from the congregation there, gonna
Yeah.
see that you're dating somebody that's not a JW. So it's terrible. And here I am waking up. I was like a 38-year-old man. And when I woke up, I realized like, hey, I'm gonna die someday. And I never truly ever really believed that or considered that. I always thought, Armageddon's gonna come anytime. And that was at the time too, when I woke up was right in the middle of the pandemic. So I
Yeah.
thought everything was going to hell until I woke up and then realized like, nah, this is just something that happens. This is things that happen in humankind through history. So it's nothing to get that stressed over.
Yeah.
So it was tough
Scary
to realize. And
in the
when
beginning.
you when you wake up and you're like a 38-year-old person and you're like, hey, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
And it's tough because you always taught like, you're never going to die.
Yeah.
And at that time, I call it spiritually homeless because I didn't believe anything. I didn't believe in the witnesses anymore. I didn't even know the Bible was real and stuff. I had to spend, like I said, a year deconstructing all this. And I felt spiritually dead and homeless. Like I knew I was going to die. I knew everything that the witnesses taught me was fake. I had a distrust in all religion and all people because that's what they taught me since I was a kid.
Right.
It was very hard the first year, but what really helped me, thank God. And this has came out a lot more since you woke up, Amber, but the XJW community is a lot more connected now. And I think that's what really saved my life. Because honestly, if I didn't connect with other XJWs, I don't really know if I would have made it through all the uncertainty and depression and letdown that I had experienced in my life, because I had put everything that I had ever believed into that organization. Even when I got reinstated, like a month after that, I was in a bad car accident.
You're going
And,
in and out of being muffled, and then we can hear you clearly.
oh, I'm sorry.
Here we
That's
go.
like
Stop, please.
much better.
I don't know where you could hear me
I'm
the
missing that piece, JP. I think that maybe that's a good idea. Like what you said about that the XJW community is more connected now, and you said that you've gone to meetups and things like that, and I think that that would probably be helpful. I should probably look into something like that. I find myself like in a position where I haven't fully deconstructed this, JW programming, and like that all of this stuff is bullshit, right? But a part of your mind still goes, but what if this, or but what if that? Do you ever do that?
Mhm.
Nicole?
Yeah, it's
But
like,
what if?
oh yeah, I left over 40 years ago, and it's still like right there in my head.
Yeah,
They didn't
same
scream
here.
at me, I'm telling you.
Yep.
Same here. So,
You,
I don't know. I
JP, as
don't
well,
know.
do the same?
You're still sounding muffled.
Oh, yeah.
Am I still muffled right now?
I can hear you now.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if I have ever completely recovered, but the way I feel is sometimes I don't really know. Sometimes I feel like maybe it was better if I never woke up, because it's just I get so overwhelmed with the reality of everything that I have to deal with now. Because when we were at JW, everything was just so written out for us, our future and
Yeah.
everything that was going to happen. And we just relied on everything. Like, just stick to Jehovah, just stick to the congregation, and everything will be okay.
Yeah.
But even
Kind of
now,
like,
I mean, of course, like, I'm glad I woke up. I would never want to still be in that, but just for like comfort's sake, for my mental
Ignorance is
well-being, I
bliss
wonder.
type stuff. Like, did you watch The Matrix where the guy's like, the ignorance was bliss portion of things instead of being wide awake and understanding what was happening in reality, That,
Exactly.
yeah, I get that. I totally
it's kind of like we're kids, and we're dealing with an organization that's like a parent figure. I mean, they do call it mother org.
right.
Just do what your parents say, and you'll be fine.
Well, yeah, they map everything out for you. It's all like the whole plan is there. You just have to, like JP said, follow the rules. So
Yep.
it is very much like a parent-child relationship. So then what do you do when you go out and you're all on your own,
Mm-hmm.
and you still have, some of this very limiting belief system that's stuck inside you that makes you question everything that you do all the time, because heaven forbid, like we said earlier, you lean on your own understanding or, have confidence or belief in yourself.
Right.
Yeah. It's so like, you say it, right? You say it and you know it, but then actually letting go of it and being, a person who doesn't second guess yourself. It's just, I don't know. It's just so hard.
I happen to
That's where
think
I'm
that
finding myself, anyways.
we're all exactly where we're supposed to be
Yeah.
in our healing journey, you know, and like I'm in a different place than you, and JP's in a different place than maybe both of us, and then we've got Dallas, and you know, the more I hear from Dallas, I'm like, this dude does some homework, man. He knows stuff.
He does.
He does. It's like, whoa, when did he sit? You know, like, how long ago did you leave the organization, Dallas? I think I asked you this before, and you were like, kind of like you don't see your. I don't know. Do you feel comfortable answering that question, Dallas?
It was me. I just unintentionally ran into videos. I think I was questioning. That's what it was. And having my doubts, no joy.
Yeah.
And this carnival virus that came, it made me think in detail, and certain things became more straws to break the camel's back
Okay.
until I said I had it with this. As much as I wanted to do right in life.
Mm-hmm.
Were you raised in Dallas in the
Yes.
organization?
Yes, I was.
And how many?
But
Do you have a lot of family still in the organization still?
I don't have many, but I got my aunt. She's in, and two aunts in on this one side of family, and I love them very much. And also, I love many of them very much. I really do.
Yeah.
And sad for so many.
Yeah. Definitely that.
Do you have any of them living with you?
No, I live with my mom.
Okay. Is
And
she still a JW?
yes, she is. And I tried to share some things, but she don't believe it. I think she has vascular dementia, so of course they're more set in their ways because they're more invested in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, wow, that's kind of cool. You're living with your mom or your mom's living with you. Either way, it's cool that you guys are still together. I'm sure you have tough days too, but
Everybody does.
yeah,
Yeah. That's true. What about you?
yeah.
Do you have family that's involved in the organization still?
Yeah, I got a lot of aunts, cousins. I got some cousins that are special pioneers, and one of my one of my cousins, her brother-in-law, is actually like a governing body helper. So sometimes he's in some of the broadcasts. So
Really?
it's pretty deep in the family. And then my story is kind of similar to Dallas. About 12 years ago, I moved back home because my mom was about to lose her house, but she's still a witness now, and she's 84. But I moved back, and I pretty much have inherited the house, so I'm just taking care of her now. But she's in pretty good health. She's still a pioneer in the congregation and does a
Wow.
lot of stuff despite her being 84 years old. But we get along well. She knows I don't believe in it anymore. But when I did explain why, which for me it was mostly doctrinal stuff, she's been a witness well over 50 years, and she was a witness before 1975. So a
Yeah.
lot of the reasons why I gave her why I don't go anymore, she understood. And I don't really try to wake her up because of her age.
Yeah.
But when I did explain stuff to her, she did tell me, she says, like, this old, I've been doing this for this long. Like, what am I supposed to do now?
Yeah.
And it really made me sad, that she's that old. And I don't even know if she really believes it anymore 100% with her heart, especially with all the changes they've been making. But she just has so many friends, and
It's her life.
this
It's
is
her life for so long. Like, what do
this
you?
is this is her life. Like you said, if I leave now, what do you want? What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
And I almost started crying when she said that.
It breaks my
'Cause I
heart
just
too.
felt so
Yeah.
yeah, so I just let it be how it is. She's happy with what she's doing. She still is pioneer, does the letter writing, the cart work, but she has a lot of friends. They call each other every day. They're always going to lunch and doing their little JW thing. So it's okay. I take care of mom. This is my house now, and I just got to hold down the house and take care of her. That's all I can do. But I honestly, like, I didn't really want to move back here and come back home and that, but I never would have had a house before. I would have always just been renting rooms or, doing stuff like that. So I am grateful like that. And we do get along good. I mean, I can have a few beers and she drinks her wine and we'll watch Netflix movies and other stuff and talk. It's just, as
Awesome.
long as I don't bring up anything about the org or that's when she makes her feel uncomfortable. So I just don't do that. And I just enjoy the time that I have with her now. And she hasn't shunned me, and she
That's
did
good.
shun some of my other brothers for several decades when they were disfellowship, but she's, in the last 8 or 10 years, she's opened herself up and talked to him a lot more. But even when I woke up and pretty much, because at one point when I woke up, she was like, "Oh, you sound like an apostate." And I said, "Well, I wouldn't consider myself an apostate, more like a heretic against Watchtower." And she didn't have nothing to say about that. But I asked her, I said, "Is anything I'm saying false or wrong?" I said, "You've been doing this longer than me. You should know." And she didn't have nothing to say except, "Oh, well, we just gotta rely on the brothers." And I said, "That's not good enough for me, Mom. I'm sorry. I hope you understand." And she says, "I do." And
Were
she
you
says, "I'm happy what I'm
baptized?
doing, but what am I supposed to do? I have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
This is all I can do." She
Uh,
says, "I'm too old. I'm too old to think about what you're thinking about."
I'm
Did
And
you
the same way.
did you ever? I've seen a book online that's called about it, the Great Fraud. If you have on Amazon,
The Great Fraud. It's about the organization.
yes,
I'm gonna check that out.
and
It's about Jehovah's Witness organization.
it is the
Okay.
tower, and
Wow.
shows the old building in New York City,
Yeah.
and which that sign ain't there no more.
No, it's not. You said it's called The Fraud or The Big Fraud? What did you say?
The Great Fraud.
The Great Fraud. Okay. Wow.
And sometimes this thing of calling it the Witch Tower.
I like that. That's a good name for it.
Okay,
like-
dehydrated nurse. Thanks for hanging out with us. Dehydrated nurse is going to go to sleep at 2 a.m. where she's at. Thanks for joining us, sweetheart. I know you and I have some disagreements, but I really, really dig you.
You're on
Thanks for being dehydrated
you're on
nurse.
Pacific time. I'm on Eastern time, but I'm
Hi,
still here.
Yeah.
I'm on it.
Because I am a East Coast native. Northeast to be exact.
Okay.
If you remember,
No, I didn't remember that it was Northeast.
Pennsylvania.
Yes, Pennsylvania, yes. But you're from, like, you talk about North Carolina a lot, don't you?
Because I got relatives from there, and that's why.
Okay. So I'm looking up the book now, The Great
Let me look.
Fraud.
Fraud. Froud.
Right on.
The Great Fraud.
Uh-huh. Does anybody remember Avery when he used to pop up in my videos? He's over here on the side right now, distracting me.
He's in the chat.
He's just sitting on my bed over here, like trying to whisper
Oh,
and
okay.
on the side. But I was so funny because I was watching, like I was telling you, I was watching some of my own videos just recently, and he would always kind of like pop up behind my chair and make little faces and do all these little things. And that just is funny because I thought of that, and now he's doing the same thing, except for he's 12 now. He's not the little tiny guy anymore.
I don't see it. Have you found it,
I've
Amber?
seen.
Or
I
JP?
don't see a book, but I see like an Instagram channel and a Facebook channel called the Great Fraud,
Okay.
but I don't see a book. Maybe I need to go like search it on Amazon or something. Stop, Avery. Wait until you're streaming on Twitch with your friends playing your video games. Guess what?
What?
I'm gonna come in there and I'm gonna disturb you.
I,
I'm talking to
I
you.
got the.
That's different. This is. I'm making threats.
I hear this. I hear this.
I found it, Linda.
Yep, so did I.
Yeah,
you
the
for
great
doing that.
unveiling discrepancies of judgment. Yeah.
Is it by Walter C. Harris? Steve?
That's it.
Okay.
Senior. That's it.
Right on.
Okay, I'm way behind because I still haven't done it.
And I'm fixing to get A Crisis of the Conscience by Ray Friends, too.
The book?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fixing to get one too.
Okay. By the way, on Netflix,
But I did find this at a thrift store.
Did you? That's
what
Yeah,
is that?
at the
That's a
Habitat
good
for
book. That's
leaving
a
the
very good book.
this one.
Yeah, you've got it real close. Bring it back a little bit.
I can't
Go ahead.
see it small for me. Wait, let me go on.
Can you
Yeah,
see
it's
it
in
back?
the Squirrels book.
That's a pretty intense book, but it's a good. I liked reading it.
Yeah, leaving the witness.
Mm-hmm.
Leaving the community. That's what it is. I got one apostate book right there.
I'm interested in reaching out to get some of these books that JP has from the Bible students.
Oh, that does sound cool.
I know, right?
So
Yeah,
this
I
guy,
can send you the link or tell you the link when I know it. They'll send you all the books hardback. I think it was like a $10 donation, and that was shipping included.
Oh, dang, that's awesome.
wow.
And it's funny when they had the return address thing, it was the Bible students symbol, and they still have the cross and crown on it too.
Oh,
That's funny.
Yeah.
You know, there's something to be said about the people who can stick with the original doctrine, whatever that is, right? Instead of changing new light all the time.
New light nonsense.
Yeah.
And I've looked on YouTube at a song called the channel called the Truth About the Truth. It's called the Apostate Song.
Hmm.
That's what it's called. I can share that with you on Discord, because I am on Discord myself.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I'm old fashioned. I just have the YouTube still.
So I'm making a.
We have to make a list of all these.
Mm-hmm. That's one way. Like I'm putting this aside, I'm putting that aside, so I can relook at it later. Otherwise, I'll be just totally distracted here.
I'll be texting.
If anybody knows me, they know I can be like a squirrel all the time.
Yeah, same here.
It looks like this guy that wrote this book, The Great Fraud, was not a Jehovah's Witness. Is that the case, Dallas?
I didn't see that, but it interests me.
Yes, it does look interesting. Walter Clifton Harris Sr. is the pastor of a church, African Methodist Episcopal Church in Chicago, Illinois. Reverend Harris received a Master's of Divinity degree from Garrett Evangelical Theological Seminary in some places, Illinois. He has been married to Olivia, a lifetime Jehovah's Witness, for over 30 years. There's the connection right there.
I was gonna say.
There it is, right there.
I'm sure he has well,
Mm.
thank you on things.
Oh my goodness. You know, what's his name that was in Africa, put in jail for a while? What was his name? And he came out and he became president. One of his first, I can't think of his name. Tutu.
Nelson Mandela.
Thank
I
you.
was gonna
Yeah.
say Mandela too. Oh, is
Thank
it that
you.
right? It is? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Like his first girlfriend or wife was a Jehovah's Witness, and he knew he wanted to get into politics, you know, and their marriage did not work out because of that. But he has never spoke badly of her, ever. You know, that she was a Jehovah's Witness. Yeah, his first wife.
It's because he loved her.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Love of neighbor.
Mhm.
Wow, I
And-
never knew that, Linda. Thanks for sharing that. I have to
And
look into that.
Thank you for sharing it. And I
Sure.
typed something for y'all in that comment right there.
Okay, Dallas, the best part of waking up is never going to a Kingdom Hall again.
Yes.
Best part of waking up. Yep. YouTube will read his book for free. Thank you, Dehydrated Nurse. Before I lay my head down, wait a minute, I need to go up here. Linda is burning the midnight oil. Yes, as Rick Farron would say. Speaking of Rick Farron, he had on the last show of tonight for Rick Farron's show for 6 Screens of the Watchtower, he had Stephanie on. Stephanie Lynn Carson.
Willow.
Also known as Sister Willow. And she's going to start being on every other week. And I enjoyed today's show with her. It was pretty cool. She comes on at 9:00 Eastern time, I believe. And again, every other weekend. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she's going to bring to the table. I'm really, she talked a little bit about it tonight. But yeah, she made it to the convention, the Jehovah's Witness convention. Stay
alive till 25.
25. And she spoke there as well.
Do you still get on that show with 6 Screen with the? Are you still on that show?
No, I'm not.
No.
I used to for quite a few years, actually. But there was there was a certain someone that used to come in there and bully whoever was on with me and myself. And the way it was set up is that I was doing the show through Rick's StreamYard, and he would go to bed, and I was just on it late at night.
Hmm.
And anyways, this guy was harassing us, and so Rick got woken up, and it was one of those weeks where he was in and out of the hospital with his wife. It was one of those weeks where he just had too much, and every so often, Rick will have a breakdown. Okay, he'll have a meltdown, and it's like, I don't know if I'm ever going to do the show again, which is totally normal for all of us. We have our breakdowns, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm just and I was letting him know, I'm like, you're burning the candle at two ends. I don't mind stepping back and starting my own channel, and he said, I'm going to sleep on it. And the next day he said that he's going to let me go. And he knew I was totally cool with it, that I wasn't going to take it as a rejection or anything. And I had already been thinking about doing that. So this made it very easy to do.
Well, remember, you're still part of the Six Queens family.
Exactly. I do.
But I'm sorry that bully was doing something. I don't know who he was, but I bet you he banned from his channel and yours as well.
Yeah, he's never came over here. And it was sad because he was talking about me being a lesbian, and he was bullying my caller, just saying really bad things. Like, what's it like getting it up the ass and shit like that? It was really ugly.
That's
And it was
awful.
weeks upon weeks of this. And
just
he would tell me stuff about how I was a terrible host, that I don't know how to host. He was just a bully. And so I had enough of him too. So it turned out to
I
be
think you're
okay.
a great host.
Getting your own show, it took so much off of Rick too.
Yes, it did. And it turned out great. Turned out great.
A big favor for him as
Mhm.
well.
Oh, I was looking at what Dehydrated Nurse was saying, and then I got distracted. And Rose said, "Hi, Dallas. We're on the same time."
Linda, it's probably for the better though, because you have your nice show here and you're in control of it.
Yeah.
Because I seen what you went through for at least
I
a
did.
month, and Rick
That's
would
right.
fall asleep, and you had no control over the show.
That's what I
It
did
would be
mention.
like
Thank you for bringing that up.
if I were speaking right now and you couldn't mute me if you wanted to, and I just could tell you off or say whatever I wanted, and it was terrible.
It really was. And
And you
It
put
was-
up with a lot, so I commend you for that.
Wait,
for-
what the hell? What was going on? Tell me.
he was being a bully in any which way he could think of. And the last show was just scandalously kind of a bully to myself and the people that called in.
Yeah.
The person that was hosting the show was?
I was hosting the show, and he was bullying me and my guest.
Oh,
It,
that's
it,
awful.
it wasn't on StreamYard, Amber. It was just like on a conference call.
Oh.
That's what
It
Rick
was-
had it on, and he would fall asleep, and the conference call would be left open so anybody could call in.
Oh, got you.
And this man, I don't even want to call him a gentleman. He was some dude who would call in, and he would trash talk Linda and not just Linda, but anybody that would call in, and anybody that was going through any problem with their time in Watchtower. He'd say, "Oh, you guys are a bunch of wusses and pussies," and
Right.
he would really harass Linda and saying, you guys are, you can't handle this, and you guys need to grow up and move on. And it's like, well, what are you doing on this
Yep.
channel with people who are trying to talk things out and recover and find a place to go?
And then because Rick was not on, Linda didn't have the ability to boot him off of the
No, it was like the wild. We used to call it the Wild West of the six screens back then.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. So
Man.
I didn't have control. Rick did, and he was already asleep.
Right, got you. Okay. Man, that would have been no bueno.
Yeah, it got bad. And I forgot all about that, JP, talking about how he would harass other callers. Like, get over it, you know? Dude, what are you doing here?
And
It was very disturbing.
we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be.
literally having a breakdown,
Sorry,
and they would say,
Viola.
"Oh, you're like a crybaby," or you can't get over it. And
You wanna
people would
crucify
be
me.
on the brink of almost like committing suicide sometimes, calling in the show, and he would be there making fun of them. And it's like, bro, you have no clue what you may do to this person. And to him, it was just, he would go on there. He was like a game.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously this guy was a JW, because when he would talk, he would have the lingo of a JW. So, he was an ex-JW. He was just an absolutely rotten person.
Yeah.
And there are those out there. As many good people as I found in the ex-JW community, most of us are very good people that just want to help each other out and move on with our life. But there are a few people that I don't even know. They're just sick people. That's all, the only way I could explain it.
Evil vile, as we have to say they are, because they need to act civil, need to be civil, respectful, and have decency. If we can be civil, have decency, then that's respect right there.
Yeah, I agree.
So John was saying he remembered that, and this is so cool. Dehydrated nurse that got back up to say,
I know.
she got up to say, this is so friggin' endearing. I got up to say Linda's show was my favorite. And she loved it when I used to host with Eric. Eric has recently gotten married too. So I'm not sure if Eric's show got dropped or not. I don't know if it opened up for Stephanie or what. I don't know. But yeah, he was being a horrible person. I remember him though talking about when he was a kid, his parents or his dad or somebody like sold the house before 75 and stuff, and they came back from an assembly and had no place to live. I thought to myself, oh my God, what a nightmare of a childhood this guy had.
Eric's actually younger than that. He was born in the 80s.
Oh, okay. Who was born in the 80s?
Eric.
No,
The one
you're
that
right.
just
Eric,
got married.
you're right. I'm sorry. I'm talking about two different people, and I mixed them up. So thank you.
I
Eric,
understand that happens at times.
yes, Eric just got married. He was born in the 80s. Yes. And then I'm talking back about the guy that was the bully. I think we used to call him Dwight or Aaron or something, because John was asking, was it Mike? Alias Mike. Every so often Mike calls in. Mike is from Michigan.
I was
Mike
going
has
to ask
a
if it was Darrow.
what?
I said I was going to ask if it was Darrow that was doing all the.
No, that's a different guy.
Yeah. Mike will usually call in.
Funny because when that guy would call into Eric's show, like he wouldn't put up with it, and Eric would cuss the guy out, and they'd be going back and forth for like 5 minutes.
That'd been entertaining.
I remember Eric one time. He pissed off Eric one time so much. He's like, "Hey," he's like, "I live at 1038 whatever street, Galveston, Tennessee." He's like, "You come over here." He's like, "I'll kick your ass."
Oh my god.
Is that when he was doing his own show, or was that when I was hosting with
He
him?
was doing his own show because that guy would. It wasn't that guy Mike, but remember they call him a Wyatt Earp. Remember?
Yeah. Okay, so you tried to mess with Eric. Good for Eric.
Yeah, he would always call Eric in the Eric show and like trash talk Eric, but Eric would just like
Tear 'em up.
go back and forth. One time, like he got so mad. Eric was he's like, I'm about to shut off the show, and he gave him his address. He's like, this is where I live. He's like, you come down here. He's like, we'll have it out in front of my house. I'll kick your ass. He was so
And
mad.
Eric is such like people call in. He's like, "How you doing, darling? Hey, hon." I mean, he's just got this wonderful, welcoming demeanor to him. You know, to get Eric at that place, you had to do a lot. Okay. Yeah, that's. But I'm proud of Eric for standing up to him because, to be honest, what I've learned, I'm not telling everybody that this is the case for you, but what I've learned is when you're dealing with a bully, you got to bully him back.
Yeah.
Okay. And I found this out on accident. The person that I live in apartments, and the maintenance guy would come around and start things with people that lived here. And when I had my grandkids here, I would step outside and I would say, "Not today, Eric," which is a different Eric. "Not with my grandkids here. I don't want you yelling around my grandkids." I talked to him like I was a yard duty person or something, and he would not keep yelling. So it took me like a year of doing this to him, which maybe happened 4 times within that year, to realize he shuts up when I tell him that way with a stern voice. And then one night he was yelling at my roommate, who was a petite blonde, okay? And he was yelling at her. She was out with the dog, taking the doggy potty. And I heard him yelling at her. I got up and I walked out. And I literally told his ass off. Like I don't even know where it all came from, but I did. I'm yelling across the area where everybody lives, and then I'm like, "You're drunk, you need to go to bed." That's how I ended it.
And did he go to bed?
I guess he did go in the house. And then my roommate said that what he said was, "You've been leaving the poop out from the dog." And he said he could tell because he saw her hair on the poop.
Oh,
She was a white, right? She was a white, fluffy Pomeranian. I've seen a lot of doggy poop, but I've never seen any poop with hair left on it. I don't know what kind of miracle it is about doggy poopy. I've never seen the hair attached to it. Have you? I mean, I just haven't.
Oh my goodness.
He was just messing with her to mess with her.
Yeah. All right, you guys, I'm about to turn into a pumpkin, so I'm going to head out. But I've enjoyed this time with you.
Thank you for joining.
I always enjoy your show.
Thank you for joining, Amber, and this was your interview tonight, and thank you for your interview.
Thank you. And JP, thank you so much for coming on and sharing what you shared, and also for telling me that I was one of the channels that you woke up to. That makes me feel so good, because I think that is something that we strive for, is just to help, just one person. And so to be able to hear that was fulfilling for me. So thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome, Amber. You have a good night. And no, I thank you for your channel. You're just, when I woke up, you're one of the people that confirmed that me having my doubts and realizing that it wasn't the truth and finding the truth about the truth was okay. Because people like you have your channel and you explain stuff and put things out there that I realized. And by the way you could talk in that, I mean, I was raised as a witness, so I could tell, like, you're not lying, and you were just in the organization just like me, just the lingo that we have and the way we carry ourselves and the way we talk about it. So I was like, no, this lady's for real, just like these other channels I was just listening to over these last few days. So yeah, thank you. That you really, as hard as it was comforting to know that, people like you were honest and you put out your story and the facts about what JW really are. And it did help me to wake up. So thank you. And you have a good night, and
thank you.
come back again to Linda's channel.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care, Amber.
Bye. Let's see if I know how to get out of here. Oh, there's an X. Okay, bye.
Bye bye.
Okay.
That was cool. I'm glad she joined us tonight.
I'm too.
Okay. And I don't know if I told you had your nurse, but what did you say?
No, I'm glad you had her on because I followed her channel when I first woke up and she was making videos, and then like a lot of XJW, sometimes they just stop and they're done. You know, they did what they had to do, they said what they had to say, and they move on.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Amber did, but I always kind of wondered what happened to her and stuff. So yeah, thanks for having her on. She was really a big help to me.
There was some commenter on.
She actually approached me to come on. So I was like, yeah, let's do this. What were you saying, Dallas?
There was some commenter on Rick's show that said that they remember certain generations that were a difference in certain generations if you got to hear.
Yeah.
Before Gen X or the ones that predate when the millennials and the Gen Zs didn't exist and the Gen Xers were, the old Gen Xers were babies or small.
Yeah. Mermaid made a comment. Alora Mermaid, I like to just call her Mermaid. I love mermaids. She says that my parents sold their house in 1975, but we rented after that. Summer of 1976, we had everything in our car for an assembly in another state and drove around until we found a town we liked. So that's what they did. And see, 1976 was a bicentennial for the U.S. And that was kind of a thing. Hi, Natasha. Good to see you. Yeah, this is I enjoy what Amber brings up, and it's always thought provoking or fun or just she's super cash, and I just enjoy her company. So I was glad she got in touch with me and wanted to join me. So I was super happy about that. And to me,
she's from California too, huh?
Yeah, she is someplace north from me. I don't know where. Maybe south. I don't even know where. But yeah, she's here in California.
Oh, nice.
And it's the show's going to end in like 20 minutes or so. And to me, time like this, getting to share our experiences is part of like. It's just really helpful to listen to each other and confirm that you know what they mean. Like they're heard. It's validating to share your experiences, even if it wasn't the same experience as somebody else. Just being able to validate that that you believe them, and we've heard of other situations too, and we know that the atrocity that happens within this organization, or else we're coming to know that it's set up with such a structure that it makes it okay, and it keeps the atrocities covered up, and that's kind of heartbreaking when you first come to realize this. It's heartbreaking. It's like I don't. No, I can't believe that, because you're realizing you've been deceived by somebody or something you thought was the truth, It's pretty heartbreaking.
It's good we have places like this, Linda, because we don't have anywhere to go, really, as XJWs to talk about stuff. Like when I woke up, and I've told you about this before. When I first woke up, I told like a few workmates and other stuff because I didn't really know anybody to talk to about it. And they were supportive, but they don't really understand or get it. Mm-hmm. And when I was waking up, it was all doctrinal stuff. So I was like, I can't believe 1914 isn't real and all this. And they're looking at me like, it's okay, man. Like, not don't you shouldn't be that upset about like that. You said there was like a year when Satan came to earth and that. And I'm like, yeah, but it didn't happen. And they're like, yeah, it probably didn't happen. And I'm like, don't you understand though? This is like, and they don't get it. But you know, we can come on channels like this and we can talk about stuff like that. We're like, yep, I know.
1914 is like a fundamental date that a bunch of other things fall into place after it. So if we lose 1914, everything crumbles. Everything. 1914 is a very big deal within this organization. Yeah. What I've always wondered is like, okay, so 1914 is when Jesus started his reign over the earth, yet he's going to show up later. What? Physically? I don't understand that. So he's showing up twice?
Invisibly.
Right? The first time was invisibly. I'll never forget when my head registered invisibly. And I was a kid and I'm like, okay, invisibly. That's pretty convenient. Invisibly.
Well, when I woke up, I was starting to realize, I'm like, wait a minute. So Jehovah's Witnesses believe that Jesus is going to have a third coming, but the last two are invisible, and the third one's going to be an invisible slaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're literally the only Christians that believe, you know, everybody, all the Christians are waiting for Jesus to return. They're like, no, he's returned invisibly in 1914, but he's going to return again for Armageddon.
Why would he need to return again if he's already here? No, wait a minute. He's not here. He's still in heaven reigning, right? I get it confused. What did you say?
I said, you got me.
Right.
I don't know how the hell I used to explain that to people when they would ask.
But you know who helped me out is Goat-like Personality when he did a video on overlapping generations.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he does the best.
Goat-like Personality took his little kid goats. They were not babies yet, but they were kid goats. And he's explaining the story, and he's putting one little one on top of the other. And it might sound like they got hurt, but they didn't. He was just placing and talking about it and talking. It was so ridiculous. It was great. And then you had a little sign with his little stick and stuff, and it was hilarious. And it was making fun of Brother Splain explaining the 1975 situation and how they came to overlapping generations. He had a board with a stick. Brother Splain did. As he's explaining it, it absolutely makes no sense. And then he's like, "You understand now, or see how it makes sense?" And it doesn't. It doesn't make sense. But he's talking like it does, and it doesn't.
Well, it's just a gaslighting session from the beginning because he asks, "Oh, what do you think about when you hear the word generation?" And he's like, "I'll tell you. Turn to Exodus chapter so and so." And I the David's playing. I'm like, turn to Matthew chapter 1. It says how many generations there were. And even if you take all the generations from the destruction of Babylon to Jesus, if you divide it by the years, it comes out to about 43 years. So they try to override the whole, what a generation is explained in the Bible. It's real simple because even there was that whole generation that wandered the wilderness for 40 years. It was that generation. But see, Splain doesn't want to explain that. He's explained some random scripture and that doesn't explain it. But you know, that's how they roll with it. Watchtower.
Yeah, it is. I can remember.
Absolutely, I agree.
Do you recall, Dallas, like being at the Kingdom Hall when you were younger, and they're explaining a situation, some teaching, and you're looking around and everybody's shaking their head like they are in agreement with it, but you know it doesn't fit. You know it's not adding up.
I think so. Some things I never believed that in the teaching about Jesus being Michael the archangel, because he's not. He ain't a mere angel.
Yeah. And there's people that are Christians that have like a viewpoint of Jesus not being God. I think they're Anglican. Anyways, but this falls under freedom of religion, and we have the right to have our own belief system, right? And parents do, by law, get to raise us in the religion that they're in.
Are you talking about the Unitarian Church?
No.
Okay, because there's the Unitarian Church is pretty much like JWs. They reject the Trinity. They think that Jesus is created, and
Yeah, there's other churches that have that belief system as well, non-Trinitarian. Yeah. And when I first left the organization, it was more about the doctrines being incorrect. Today, I'm more about the techniques and tactics that are used to manipulate people to behave in a manner that really is not beneficial for them, that really is bad for them.
yeah, because you correct me if I'm wrong, but when you left the JWs or when you went on to your own thing, you spent probably over a decade or so in the Baptist religion, I think, or was it something else?
I spent about 3 years just studying doctrine for doctrine through Dr. Walter Martin, the late great Dr. Walter Martin, who founded a radio show called The Bible Answer Man, and it was under the subject of apologetics, which is like means standing up for the faith. So he was standing up for the faith of mainstream Christianity, and that was in fact Trinitarian believing. So this lady that I thought was crazy because God talked to her gave me a stack of cassettes, and every single point that he made, because I intended to prove him wrong. That's how cocky I was with my JW beliefs, right? And every single one, I looked it up, I checked it out, all of the references. I had a concordance and an interlinear, and even an interlinear from the Old Testament stuff. Like I was on. And about 3 years later, I'm like, oh my God, okay. My belief system totally changed towards mainstream Christianity. And that's the direction I wanted to go. Because for me, it was like discovering I was adopted. And I was on a journey looking for my spiritual father, because my spiritual father of the organization was not it. So it was that was where I was drawn to go.
Yeah, but you put a lot of time in and a great effort to do the research, and you really looked into everything that you were presented, and you went through everything. Yeah, that's good.
And I did get baptized in a Baptist church. Yes, I did. I ended up, and it was in Montebello, California. And I went to that church for a while. It was a really casual church, and they had like Bible studies for new people or whatever. But before I got baptized, I learned through the church the doctrines that they believed too. And I was in agreement with them. If I wasn't, I wouldn't have gotten baptized, but I did. And the water was warm. It was warm, and I got to wear this like white thing, like how people wear those gowns for choir or for graduation.
Yeah. I understand. I think they've changed, and they don't require that as much as they did in the past. I think you just get to wear a normal outfit now.
Okay.
Which, if I do, I think my disassociation may be getting baptized into that Baptist Church, which is a mainstream, moderate First Baptist church. Because I've attended Sunday school and communion. Last time it was communion.
I
Did you
enjoyed
say
doing
you were baptized, Dallas?
I didn't, but partook of communion.
Yeah, I've done all that. I went to a non-denominational church, and I went there for about a year and a half before I decided to get baptized. And after I got baptized, I went there for almost a year, but I haven't even been back there in like 6 months. I don't have nothing against the church.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't feel like the obligation to go the way I did. That was just something I felt I had to do at that time. But I still read my Bible. I'm still a Christian, talk about that with other Christians. But I mean, I will go back to that church and visit them. You know what I mean? But
Right.
I'm not at the place where I was waking up. And that's the awesome thing about waking up is, you know, you go through things like you got rebaptized, Linda, and I'm sure it felt good at the time and that.
I didn't get rebaptized. I never got baptized in the organization.
Oh, so okay.
Yeah.
But it still felt like amazing though, you know,
Oh
getting,
my God, yeah.
yeah.
And I think I think doing it in another church is cutting yourself off from the watchtower. And
That's
that will
right.
be a disassociation right from the watchtower.
Okay. And you know
Maybe
what? Go ahead. Go ahead.
maybe I'll find somebody and be married. You never know.
You never know.
I've met some nice looking ones, and if they're single in Sunday school.
You are on the handsome side, I must say. So, you know, you never know what could happen. Judge
You are
Rutherford.
definitely a heck of a smile, brother.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, he does. It was Rutherford that said you have to find the right religion. That's no.
And unlike the Watchtower, it's not in the name of the organization, but in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
That's right. And what you were talking about is how people are baptized within the organization, Jehovah's Witnesses. They add the organization in with the baptismal process.
And do you know that your dedication and baptism identifies you as one of Satan's witnesses in association with his demon-controlled organization as ordained minister?
You rewrite stuff so well. Oh my God, that's too hilarious.
I'll rewrite songs.
Yeah.
Which I don't like those kingdom melodies. I hate them. And that JW Broadcasting, I don't like to hear anything. The presentation, any songs of it when it's coming on, I hate hearing that.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be reminded of that indoctrination.
Yeah. You know, Rutherford was like, the organization told us what we have to do is find the right church, and we need to find the one that God's choosing. Okay? In actuality, it's more about, because we're a Christian, we go hang out at church. We hang out with like-minded people. And if you like to bowl, you go and bowl at a bowling alley. If you hang out with like-minded people. Okay? The organization of Jehovah's Witnesses does not make someone a Christian, and neither does the Baptist church on the corner. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of those deceptive things that was used on us.
Yeah, you want to hear a funny story, Linda? Is when I got rebaptized in this one church. 2 days before that, I went to this. This was on a Friday, and this church was having like a Bible study class. So I was going to it, and then I ended up meeting an ex-JW there.
Oh, that's
And
very cool.
it was just so random and weird. It was like
You're
50,
back,
60
Alice.
people.
I'm sorry I lost you. I just pressed something and then went away. I had to get back on.
Okay. JP is telling us a story. Can you pick up where you left off, or go back a little bit?
What I was saying real quick, because I know you got to go soon, you got to wrap up the show. But what I was saying, it was a funny story. Is when I got rebaptized, it was on a Sunday, and 2 days before that, the church has like a Friday like Bible study class, and I was attending it. And it's such a big class. There's probably 60, 70 people that showed up to the class. There's all these tables, and just randomly, this guy walks in, goes all the way to the end, cuts a left, sits right next to me, and he slaps down a notebook and a regular King James Bible and then a New World Translation. He sat next to me, and I was like, what the heck? And then he's like, hey, how you doing? He introduced himself, and then he got up and left, and then we were talking, and then he was telling me a little bit about me and how long you've been going to this class and that. I was like, yeah, I actually left from a cult group. And he's like, really? So did I. And he was like, what group did you leave from? And I pointed to his Bible on there, and he's like, no way. He's like, you're a JW? I'm like, no, not anymore. And I was like, why are you even bringing this Bible to this Bible study class? He said, because I'm trying to compare it to the
Yes,
studying here. And I said, wow, good for you, man.
I did
So
that
anyway,
for many years. Yeah.
story short, I just had met him. We really hit it off that Friday. I got his number and his contact. We talked the next day, Saturday, and then I didn't even tell him I was going to get baptized that Sunday. I didn't even plan on it. I just felt like the Spirit moved me to do it. And I'd been going to this church for a year and a half. They never
Okay.
pressured me to get baptized like JWs do, or you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I did. Just one day, I showed up to church, and I'm like, I want to get baptized today. And I went up to one of the, the deacons, and then it was during a service because they're announcing it, they're going to have baptisms later. And I just whispered in his ear and I said, hey, I would like to get baptized. Is that okay? And he said, absolutely. He didn't say, oh, how long you been coming here? Have you met with the elders? Have you gone through your sets of questions? No, he just said, really? He said, yeah, absolutely. He said, I let him know you just go into that back door. They'll have a bathing suit for you there and a towel and all that. And so when I ended up getting baptized, I didn't have no family with me. I was by myself, because I woke up from Watchtower. And so I'm getting baptized, and I see somebody walk up on the stage, and they're taking pictures of me. So I get baptized, and I'm like, I wonder if there's a church or something that was taking pictures. I hope they don't put me up on their website or something. And then after that, the guy that I met Friday, who was the XJW, he sends me these pictures, text of me getting baptized. And he seen me, so he ran up on stage and took some pictures of me.
Oh my goodness, how cool is that? That is really cool.
It meant so much because my family wasn't there, but he was there for me, and he's still my friend to this day.
That's really a beautiful story.
That's great story that you got, and
yeah, awesome.
And you didn't have all the red tape. Like it wasn't like getting qualifying for a driver's license. That's what in JW is like. It's like getting a driver's license, qualifying for a driver's license, the red tape.
And what you're talking about is like, I haven't done this, but like there's 80 questions or whatever you're supposed to get right to be able to qualify for baptism within the Jehovah's Witness organization. And
what I said is it's like what you got to go through to get a driver's license.
Very similar, yes. Very similar. Well, is there anything else you'd like to share, JP? Before I say goodnight?
Thank you for having the show on. I'm glad. I thought you had Amber as a guest, but I guess she just decided to come onto your show, which I'm very grateful for. It was really nice finally
Yeah.
talking.
Yes. And to hear you say that was like, and I'm so glad she heard that too. I don't know if
Yeah.
you were here at the beginning of the show, but she was talking about like, I feel like erasing some of the videos because all I was doing was crying.
Oh no way.
Right?
I don't think she should. I'm not a content creator. I've always thought about making a channel and sharing my experience, and then just talking like how you do, like doing lives. People have told me that, but I have, maybe someday I will. But I mean, the people that put videos out that help me wake up. I mean, if I did the same thing and somebody told me that it helped them wake up, it would mean so much to me. So
Yes.
planning
The timing was so good.
but when I saw her on there, I was like, I have to go there and just give her a little bit of a shout out, talk to her and Linda. It was great. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. How about you, Dallas? Do you have anything you want to share before we say goodnight?
And I just had to say, just remember that certain ones in family. I remember last year having an aunt that died pretty much when that JW memorial happened, and I wanted to, but my mom wanted to go, but all I did was not participate because I'd woken up. But it wasn't in a Kingdom Hall; it was at a rented space.
You
And
did not partake, or you did?
I didn't participate.
Okay.
Didn't sing, and just was respectful.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't believe it. I'd already been to churches, and sometimes it was on Zoom for my mom. But even though I'd attended Baptist communion,
Yeah, and some people want to be still involved in other Christians and have fellowship, and there's something about humans. We need community. Going to church is one way to have community. There's also other ways too, but that is a a good way if you can find some good people and enjoy the fellowship and the community. And that's what I'm hoping to have here is community. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I like to share something, kind of teach a little bit, but I'm real clear about if it doesn't ring true to you, I'm not expecting you to believe it. Take what you like and leave the rest. And then I like us to just go on to conversation for whatever's going to come up. And it's always just flowed pretty well,
And I think you might have been to the East Coast before.
Do you?
I think you've been, haven't you?
No, I did when I was 5. When I was 5. Mm-hmm.
I don't know, for something.
Yeah, to go see my grandma Helen, my dad's mother.
In the East Coast.
Yep. Detroit, Michigan, where my dad grew up.
Of course, I'm being from Pennsylvania, having an aunt in Maryland still, and her husband before he died, and having grandparents in the Virginia suburbs of Washington, D.C. Arlington, Virginia.
Were they
which
Jehovah's
is
too?
No, they weren't.
Okay.
My grandma, she grew up and she was Baptist. She even did the instrument for a Baptist church years before my time.
An instrument?
Yes, keyboard.
Oh, okay.
I've learned some things from her. Would do it too.
I remember back in the day when we had a piano player at the Kingdom Hall who would play the piano for us to sing Kingdom melodies to before they went to
canned music.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And I always liked the orchestra from the assemblies too. But I'm very into music, so that makes,
That's a good thing to get into.
yeah. Thank you for the things you share, Dallas. The things you share in the comments and how you participate here. And like I see you around with Joe and Fran. And I can't think of what else I've seen you. I've seen you with Joe and Fran on Wednesday night.
And Ruby and Jimmy,
Thank you. Ruby and Jimmy. Thank you.
they're
I
my
was thinking
family too.
Yes.
But
I was
they'll be
sitting-
back at some time.
Yep, they're taking a break. They're taking a break right now, and mainly because I believe Ruby said she's moving, and to do the moving is really tough. So it's kind of smart for her to take a
Thanks.
break from chat.
Oh, I was gonna say real quick, Linda, you were talking about Eric's show.
Yes.
Yeah, I was talking to him. He's just taking a little bit of a break right now since the death of his wife, and then a few months went by, and then he got remarried.
Oh,
And
he's
so-
only taking a break. Okay.
They moved, they're relocating. He's trying to secure a new job, but he
Okay.
told me that he will be back later this year.
That's right. You guys are buds. You guys are buds.
And-
That's right.
So
I reckon
be looking out
Eric
for later this year.
Just a second, Dallas. Can you say that again, JP?
go ahead.
I'll just be looking out for his show later this year. He's supposed to return,
Okay. Good.
and it might be something more like where he might have his wife more involved with the show. He doesn't know yet, but
Yeah,
it might
maybe.
be something with Dick and Connie or Joe and Fran. You know, where they're couple together just talking,
Yeah. That'd be cool.
something like that. But yeah, he does plan to come back. You know, later this year. But you know, he's just in a different life.
And it's a
Trying to-
real adjustment stage that he's going through
Yeah.
too.
Stole the words right from my mouth. He's just trying to adjust with everything, get to come up dad and learn the kid, the wife, all the whole thing.
Yeah, and even when you get to do something, if you have a shift in your life and it's super, even if it's positive, it adds a stress to your life. So if you find yourself doing, in a negative situation and a bad situation, people expect there to be a stress in your life. But even if you're doing a good change, it is a stress on your life as well.
Yeah, so
And-
it's a good. He told Rick he needs to take a break, but it's just because he's trying to situate his life with his new family and
That's
And
very
then-
smart.
like that. So, yeah, hopefully he
It's
will
very-
be.
very smart.
That's at least what he told me. So we'll see.
And you know what? It says to his wife and the kids that he's wanting to be in their life in a way that really matters. It speaks huge. I think that he set this aside for a while and making them more of the priority, and his just the things he needs to adjust as well. I think that's very cool.
That's very commendable. He's trying to get to know the family, the wife, which is understanding. So he's putting that to the side, and so that's good. I'm glad.
Me too. And they're like teenagers, so it there's like an adjustment time that you're kind of having to look to their parent that's always been there and learning your place as a authority figure, if that's even welcome by your new partner, and if that's even going to be welcome from the kids, because you want to be able to be the relationship is you're hoping to plant something that will still have them coming back around after they become adults and move out. That's what I think. So Dallas, did you want to share something? I think cut you off. Sorry about that.
It's all right. It was the wrong time. But I let you go ahead then, and I like hearing everything that Shaq has to say. And some of us think that us millennials, Gen Zs, don't know certain things, but a few of us know about certain things that are much older generations do.
Yeah.
Like myself being a millennial liking black licorice.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry,
And
Dallas.
liking the flavor of clove too.
Okay. There's a candy that we used to eat called Good and Plenty. It have these oblong pieces of candy in them. Some were pink and white and different colors, and when you chew into them, the center was licorice, black licorice.
But I also like clove flavor too.
Okay.
I like
It
those
is-
old fashioned treats and foods I do.
Wow.
What my grandparents' generations things.
They make
Because
those.
millennial generation, we have a age difference, and some of my aunts and uncles, they're great grandparents. So if my grandma, she was still alive, this year she'd be 107.
Wow.
She
Wow.
was from 1918.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So she was the final one gone.
Okay.
And Grandpa, Papa, he was one of, he was not, he was loved his football and sports. And to think that I didn't believe it, but I didn't want to think of them as step family, his side, because he was called Papa. So having step family, you can understand it in some ways. Sometimes it's a grandparent that's step family.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to think myself as part of a real family member.
Absolutely. And
We need being one family, and some of us think that we don't know how to. That all we do is technology. We can learn things such as what a stereo console is. I think Shaq, he's a little older than myself, just a little.
okay. I was born the very last year of baby boomers. Very last year. I know
You're
I'm a
what?
hippie.
You're 35, Dallas?
Actually, 38.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm 42. So.
So we'd have.
Man, you're a baby.
You guys got to hear this. Dehydrated nurse is still awake. She's like Crackerberry sells black jack licorice, gum, and clove gum.
I love that stuff.
And Deep Dive showed up a few minutes ago. That's our Carrie K. She made a comment earlier. Anyways, yeah, she's talking about licorice as well. Yeah,
Yeah, some of y'all remember stereo consoles
for your house.
Stereo consoles, which is a stereo that contains looks like furniture, but it has the radio, record player, and speakers in the package.
Maybe even like the TV as well, right?
It's like
Some of them did.
It's like a whole, and they could store vinyl in the cabinets or whatever else, family photos.
Not all of them have a TV, but some of them did.
Yes.
I didn't see as many with the TV, but I know about them. I've seen them.
Right.
Even as a millennial, I've been around them many times because my grandparents had one.
Okay.
And now I own one, but a small one.
Oh wow. Okay. Do you
And
play
couldn't
records?
think. I do have, and I couldn't think of my house without being without one anymore.
Well, thanks for bringing that up, Dallas. I don't know where that came from, but you brought back a memory that I forgot. Like
You remember them?
I remember
Right.
those. That's certainly vintage.
Yeah, there used to be something that they would call DJs on the radio, and they would be there like we're doing right now, and they would actually play records. And records had like these different slots, and in these different slots would be different songs. So they would take a record, lay it down, and play a certain song, or else there's some records that just have one song, and they'd flip it over to the other side and play it. So they were there and they were live. They were talking between the songs about whatever, play some commercials too. And that doesn't happen anymore. It's very rare to have any DJs, disc jockeys.
I remember that, Linda, the tail end of that when I was growing up, and then cassettes were the big thing in the 80s and 90s.
Yep.
And I remember CD players that came out, and I remember the local radio station. Sometimes they would put on a song, and the CD would start skipping, and then they would just go to the next song. But
Actually, records, they made a comeback again, the 33s.
Oh wow. Okay.
You
Yeah,
buy them new in stores.
Oh really? Okay.
I've seen them.
Are CDs like becoming old now?
they're pretty much, yeah.
Goodness
Almost.
And the older formats, what's making a comeback in some areas.
Yeah,
Does-
vinyl records are making a big comeback now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
for some reason, the nostalgia, the vintage of record players and stuff. But yeah, CDs and cassette tapes. I mean, I still have a bunch of CDs and cassette tapes in a box in the garage, you know,
Okay.
and I still have a CD and cassette player in case I ever want to watch them. Same with a VCR player.
Yeah.
You know, those old things of the past, but there's something that
Wow.
we were alive.
Wow.
Even into the early 21st century, which 2001, a month before 9/11, my grandpa died.
Oh wow.
So that Pentagon incident, that's when the plane 9/11 happened at the Pentagon.
Yes.
That's not DC. That's actually Arlington, Virginia.
Okay.
And that was my grandparents' address.
What?
So-
I'm confused. The Pentagon address is your grandparents' address?
Yeah, Arlington, Virginia.
Do you mean-
They were about 5 miles from Washington, D.C.
So they live near the Pentagon?
About 5 miles from the D.C. border.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay.
Arlington, Virginia.
I thought you were saying that you have the same address as the Pentagon when 9/11 happened.
And so it happened to close to my grandma home. So about 5 miles
5 miles. Do you think she might have
from
heard
Washington.
the plane hit the Pentagon?
Not that close.
Okay.
But it happened in Pennsylvania in a field. It happened in New York City with World Trade Center and the Pentagon.
I think the one in the field, there was a book called Let's Roll. And it's a wife that wrote about her husband that was on that particular plane that landed in the field. And evidently he left her a message on her cell phone or something to that effect. And before he hung up, she heard him say, "Let's roll." So evidently him and some other men planned out something to stand up to hijack. And it was a good book. It's called Let's Roll. Another book that I enjoyed reading was by Marcia Clark from the
OJ.
Yes, Marcia Clark wrote a book called Beyond a Doubt. And it was like, she talks about the whole case and she cusses through the whole thing. It's a great book.
Wow.
She's like, they showed up and screwed everything up. They messed up the whole scene. And I remember when she showed up in court with straight hair because she had natural curly hair. She changed her hairstyle, and that was like the biggest thing ever. So funny.
Was she on the prosecution or the defense team? I forgot.
She was on the side of the opposing O.J. Simpson.
Yeah.
So the state.
Yeah.
Called the
I
state.
remember. Oh, that's so funny. When you brought that name up, I'm like, yeah. Okay, that's one of the prosecution.
And she was something else. Yeah, she was something else. And I was a stay-at-home mother at that time, and so I was watching the case every day. It was pretty fascinating. It was very fascinating. Deep Dive says I watched that on TV, which was what we all had at that time, the TV. Dallas sounds like an old soul. Did you hear that? An old soul, Dallas? Do you know what that means?
What's that?
When someone calls you an old soul, it means you're a very wise person. Like you have the wisdom of somebody older than you are. So usually people don't have the kind of wisdom from when they're older. They don't usually have it when they're younger. So it's a real compliment.
I think it's from having aunts and uncles and grandparents, and the age difference and generational difference can find out why I didn't have them as long as some of them are still lucky to have them in their 30s. Their grandparents, and they're doing good. This month, my aunt, one of them, she turns 87.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
And she's a great grandma.
Is she?
But if my grandma, she was living, it'd be 5 generations.
I think of people in their 80s as like, it's the new 60s. It's like, that's the way I'll talk about it when I find out somebody's turning 80.
Being in your 80s, in the 80s is different for my aunt than it was for my grandma.
How so?
I think she don't look she looks like she's aged less. And also has more technology. Because my grandparents, they never had internet and email. They never even had mobile phones.
Oh, they didn't?
Even in the 90s, they didn't have it.
Okay.
And my grandma, even the 2000s, she still didn't have one. And house still was as if it was back in time with its stereo console in the living room.
Yep. Let me read here. An old soul is a term used to describe someone who seems wise and mature beyond their years, often displaying a deep understanding of life and human nature. While not a literal belief about the soul, it's a way of describing a person characterized by introspection, sensitivity, and a preference for deeper connections. That's one explanation of what an old soul is.
Hey, Linda, I was going to agree with Dallas. Like, my mom's in her 80s, and a lot of people, they think she's like in her 60s and stuff. But her
That's
mother,
cool.
her same age, she looks so much older. My grandmother, she was born actually in 1914, so if she was still alive, she would be 111. But she died many years ago. But my mom
So-
has lived my grandmother by 1 year because my grandmother died like when I was in junior high, when she was 83. But my mom's 84 now, and she gets around way better than my grandmother. She just looks a lot younger. So I don't know if this is like with a future or, you know, modern medication or like how we live, you know. I don't know what it is, but Dallas is on to something. They have a lot more tenacity, I guess, or like they age much better. It's not everybody, but at least I see that with my mom. And my mom went on service this morning. She's gonna go to meeting.
Amazing.
Yeah, she's gonna go to meeting tomorrow, and before she goes to meeting tomorrow, I'm gonna give her $20 so she can go out to lunch with the sisters tomorrow.
Right on.
To the little Mexican restaurant they like, or to Denny's. I'm gonna give mom $20. I'm gonna give her lunch money. It's funny, but I'm paying this back now to mom. But I remember, you know, mom would give us our lunch money or that when we're going out with our friends, you know, to a show or something. Mom would give me movie for the money for the movies or something. And it's funny, like I'm doing the opposite now. I'm like, mom, you got money for lunch? Like, I got a little bit. Oh, here, mom, here's $20. Go out to
I don't even get the impression that mom doesn't have enough money. I just think that as I'm listening to you, it's like you're wanting to support her getting to, you know, hang out with her friends and socialize. That is so really, it's really edifying to be able to do that, and to be able to give back money it's very cool.
I compliment you on that.
Just give it to her because it's like I know that's something I don't even know if she really likes the meetings, but I know she likes going out with the sisters after, and they could talk and get obsessions or whatever they want to do, you know.
Yeah.
And she likes it. And she never asked me for anything, but I just give it to her because I'm like, don't worry about it, mom. Here,
And
go
you know
and have
what? That's very cool. It's kind of old school gentleman thing too. I don't know. I just like that you're doing that with her, and I bet she appreciates it too. You know, because she can get a little extra if she wants to, or she doesn't have to. But for her to know that she can is super cool.
And it is true. My aunt, she at the same age, my grandma looked older than her at her. I remember my grandma was my aunt's age, and she looked older. So she was 4 years less than Shanks.
Okay.
1914, mine 1918.
So I think that people were born around that time ended up going through the Depression, and then like those that are in the 80s kind of were born at the tail end of it, maybe, or too young to realize what was going on yet. But that one space, you know, like between 1914 and 1925 or 35, or I'm actually thinking of the 40s, because that time in the 30s and everything, there was a lot of stuff going on, the Depression, and there used to be They called it the Dirty 30s because there'd be this big old cloud of dust. They would just come through a town. It was creepy, but it was a phenomenon that happened for a natural reason. A combination of things. The dirt was dry and it would go all the way through town. It was a trip. Dust bowls. I think they would call it dust bowls.
Yeah, Dust Bowl. And I think, and of course she did like, she would make, and she did like liver and onions, and I've eaten liver and onions at my grandparents' home. She and my aunt made it, and I ate it.
And you liked it. That's cool.
But then I had another one not this year after not having it for years.
It's really high in iron.
It is.
Wow.
And she liked such things as fried chicken livers, gizzards, and hearts, and I do too.
Yep. Very cool.
I think it's a way to use up what we got.
Yeah.
It's healthy. It's better than the trendy stuff. I think healthier.
I think so too. Tonight I'm going to make meatloaf. And I like to put vegetables in my meatloaf. So I'll probably put I usually put some green beans in there or some spinach. And
I thought you'd have it on the side.
I could have it on the side.
With mashed potatoes and gravy.
Yeah, I could do that too. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, Linda, you brought up like about the like how I give my mom money just to go out to eat with the sisters on Sunday, but to be honest, I never did anything like that when I was a JW. Like I tried to bring my mom flowers every Friday if I can, and take her out to lunch or dinner once a week if I can. It doesn't happen every week.
Right.
But those are things that I never did ever when I was a JW. And I think the reason I do that now is because I realize that everything is just temporary in this world.
Yes.
All my life growing up, I never thought like, hey, you may live in a world where mom's not going to be around anymore. I never even contemplated. I was like, no, like we're all going to be in the paradise.
Right. Exactly.
Mom's going to be here and I'm never going to die. Neither is she. We're going to just go. Armageddon's going to happen. We're going to just walk into this new system.
That's
just
right.
like
walk right in.
And all those books and magazines. And once I woke up, I started realizing that. So, I do stuff when I can for my mom and that, because I realize that was one thing that I should have done even before. But I realized that after I woke up, and it was because I realized like, hey, this isn't real. Everything I believed wasn't real, and mom's already old, so you best take advantage of the time that we're here with her, because what I thought and what she thinks, even though she still thinks that, it's not reality. That's not what's going to happen. So I just take as much time as I can hang out with her and my other relatives too, that her age, my aunts and uncles and stuff, because they're JW, and I always took it for granted, like we're all just going to go into the new system together, and they're old, they're dying, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to be right behind them too, but I don't want to miss out on this time. And that, just because I woke up, I don't feel bitter towards my mom. I just realized, like, you know what? She's stuck in something that she can't get out of. And whether she believes it or not, it is what it is. But I'm not going to let this organization take away the time that I could spend with my mom right now on a false belief of like, we're all going to always be together. Like, no, that's not true. Not in this world, maybe in another world. But yeah, that's kind of like another good thing from waking up is like I do a lot more for my not just my mom, but my nieces and nephews, and other people because I realize that this is all we have right now.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
Yes, it
And
is.
and I think what new system
Yep.
and
I think we
I
lost you
don't
too.
I don't live for any having your own panda because it's all nothing but a farce right there. That's all it is.
Um, yeah, it's like we just don't know what the afterlife is going to be. And if you have a hope for something, then, you have a hope.
Right on.
And Shaq just came back.
He's
Good.
back.
Welcome back.
Yeah,
The
I
organization
thought
kept
it was
us
done,
busy.
but I'm gonna let you guys probably go because it's getting late and stuff.
Okay. Thank you for joining
Yeah,
us.
I'll just hang out in the background till you end your show, but I accidentally hit the wrong button, so that's why I got ejected off of your show.
Okay. I understand.
I've done that before.
Let's see here. Purple says, so many religious people act like this life is only a rehearsal and waste it having never enjoyed life. And the organization really kept us busy too. So getting to have intimate time with your mother, that you set that time aside and give her flowers, that's a endearing. Both of those things are endearing. And we were kept so busy, we were always exhausted in the org. Yeah. Carrie Kay says, my mom realizes now she's going to die. Yeah, I heard my mother say, I think it was about 6 months ago, she spoke out something to the effect that she might not see the new order, that it might come after she dies. That was a trip. Dehydrated Nurse said, Parker's here in North Carolina sells fried gizzards, and they are yummy. And when I slow cook a chicken, I buy gizzards and extra chicken livers, and are so tender and delicious. That's so cool. Yeah, spending time is precious, is what Carrie Kay said. Yeah, and that's, the things you remember. You're creating memories, really good stuff. And I'm just proud to know both of you guys. Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and say goodnight. This turned out to be a really cool.
I'm just typing something right now, and Harkos fans,
You're taping something?
typing something.
Oh, that you're going to put in the chat?
Yes, because
Okay. You can do that. Then I'll wait a minute.
Yeah, thanks, Linda, for having the show. I appreciate everything. It was a great show tonight. Good guest, Amber, and then just the discussion I think was really good, and everybody in the chat.
It's
I'm
like
glad
you guys show up and make it happen. Otherwise I'll just have to be sitting here talking the whole time. And I just love it. Conversation.
We make it happen, but this is our cyber meetup, and it means a lot because we're all here together for each other.
I do get that
It
too.
means a lot. We could all have spent our evening or night by ourselves, doing nothing in our own thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody comes here and hangs out.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Saturday night, and if you have a chance to go hang out with family on a Saturday night, you do that. That's like, or friends. Tap into people that are local, establish some friendships and work on them. Because I don't even think we know how to do that sometimes.
Yeah, I just thank you for everything for Linda you've done. Like I don't know if I ever told you this, but I kind of consider you like a older sister of mine. Like, you know what I mean?
I've adopted you too.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
I'm your little brother.
I thank you for what you've done, and also having relatives from in and from Greenville, North Carolina, such as my grandma being from there. She was a big Parker's fan, as that place that Dehydrated Nurse was mentioning,
Okay.
and her brothers and sisters were fans. But there's another place her brothers liked that had a stronger smoky flavor and had the cracklings in there. The crackling pork skins in them.
Oh my God. Those are good.
And they like that. But I like Parker's for its diversity of dishes and its entrees and its side dishes.
That sounds nice. Did you get a chance to? Yeah, you did. Okay. Oh, Carrie Kay is up with a cold and she can't sleep. I hate those nights. Oh my God. They just really suck. But I'm glad you joined us. That was very cool. And I'm going to say goodnight.
You too.
Thank you. Thank you for everybody that showed up here on the show tonight and in the chat. And I also thank you for those that are going to listen to this later. I appreciate all of you. And I appreciate what you add in the comments and in the chat. And when you join me, it's truly
It's
a
an
highlight.
honor.
Thank you. And I will see you next weekend.
You too. Hopefully I can make it.
I hope so too.
Y'all take care.
Good night.
You too. Take care.
I never made it, but I know